Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Raps Baseball's live commentary of Major League Baseball. Today's game is going to feature the Oakland Athletics and the Detroit Tigers from Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. The commentary and views are our opinions and are not affiliated with Major League Baseball, the MLB, PA, or their sponsors. We are giving English reports on the game being played and hope that English-speaking audiences around the globe can enjoy the games on YouTube and Twitch along with us. And today we're going to give you the starting lineups. First from the visitors from the Oakland Athletics. Leading off and playing second base wearing number 5 is Tony Kemp. Batting second and wearing number 26 and playing third base is Sheldon Noisy. Batting third and doing the designated hitting wearing number 8 is Jed Lowry. In the cleanup spot and playing first base wearing number 15 is Seth Brown. Batting fifth and right field wearing number 22 is Ramon Laureano. Batting sixth and doing the catching, wearing number 23 is Christian Betancourt. Batting seventh in left field, wearing number 13 is Luis Barrera. Batting eighth and playing shortstop today, wearing number 1 is Kevin Smith. And batting ninth in center field, wearing number 20 is Christian Pache. And they are going to be facing the right-hander for the Tigers, Bo Brisk. Brisk is making his 4th start of his career. He is 0-2 on the season. He's worked 15 innings. He's allowed 11 hits, 7 runs, all of which have been earned. He has walked 7 and struck out 9, and his ERA is at 4.20. So it is going to be, that's the lineup today for the Oakland Athletics. We'll give you the Tiger lineup before they come to bat. Defensively for Detroit today, from first to third, the first baseman today for the Tigers is Spencer Torkelson. It'll be Jonathan Scope at second. The shortstop is Harold Castro. The third baseman today is Jmar Candelario. The outfield from left to right is Robbie Grossman in left. Willie Castro is in center, and Austin Meadows is the right fielder. And the battery for today's game is Brisk and Tucker Barnhart. So Brisk has completed his warm-up tosses, and we are ready to get this one underway as Tony Kemp strides to the plate, ready to face Brisk straight away. The umpires for this game, the home plate umpire is Greg Gibson. The first base umpire is Nick Marley. Will Little is at second, and Nate Tomlinson is the third base umpire. And we are ready to go as Bo Brisk rocks into the motion and he kicks and delivers. There's the first pitch fastball swung on, and it is lined into right field. And the first pitch of the ball game is a base hit for Tony Kemp. He is aboard with a single, and that's going to bring up the third baseman, Sheldon Noisy. The Tigers won the first game of this set as they knocked off the Oakland A's as they were playing as the visitors in game 1 of this 5-game set. And since then, they have dropped 3 straight. It has been a tough slog for Detroit this year. They've not been able to get their mojo going as of yet. So Sheldon Noisy steps up to the plate. He is batting .290 on the season. He's got a couple of homers and 14 runs batted in. And the first pitch from Brisk is a fastball that misses low for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Noisy was originally with the Oakland Athletics. He ended up in the Los Angeles Dodgers camp, and then the Dodgers let him go, and the Oakland A's snapped him back up. And there is a breaking ball that is down. They say he didn't go, and the count is now 2-0. So originally, he was traded by the Oakland Athletics with Gus Varland at the Dodgers for Cody Thomas and Adam Kolarek. And then in March of this year, the Dodgers placed Noisy on waivers, and right away the A's picked him right back up. He is their kind of player. So here comes the pitch from Brisk. It's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that clips the outside corner for a called strike, and the count is now 2-1. And Noisy has definitely given or paid dividends to the Oakland Athletics. His production and top-of-the-order approach at the plate has made him a valuable component so far for this year's team. You think of some of the money that other teams invest in players, and I think of the Tigers right now, a player like Noisy would be something that would be great. And there goes Tony Kemp. He's on the run. There's a pitch that's in the dirt. It squirts away from Barnhart, and it is going to keep Kemp at second base. That was a breaking ball down to the dirt. It was not a very good job of Barnhart blocking the ball. And in fairness, Barnhart looked like he was anticipating trying to catch the ball and make the throw. Instead, the ball got down in the dirt and it squirted away past him. It's going to go down as a wild pitch or potentially a stolen base. Actually, they're going to give a stolen base to Kemp because he was already in motion. And he probably would have had that stolen regardless. So in that situation, Brisk is not charged with the wild pitch, or at least not that we are aware of at this point. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Noisy. Brisk holds at the chest. He kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on. It is fouled away. It's going to reach the seats over on the first base side, and that's going to run the count now to 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Noisy. It's not been a great series for Noisy. He's only 3 for 15 in this series against the Tigers. Certainly the Tigers have been the right tonic for the Oakland Athletics, as the A's have now put together a 3-game win streak after dropping that first game. And here's the delivery from Brisk. It's a fastball that misses inside, and Noisy is aboard with a walk, and that's going to bring up the designated hitter, Jed Lowry. So Brisk has got himself in some early trouble here with runners on first and second and nobody out. And Sheldon Noisy strides to the plate. Noisy is batting 188 today, or entering today's game. He's got 1 homer and 6 RBIs. Does Lowry. I don't know if I said Noisy on that one. Jed Lowry batting 188. He hits from the left side against the right-handed throwing Brisk. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count is 0-1 to Lowry. The Tigers defensively are playing a sort of traditional type of style defense against Lowry. They are in double play depth. Second baseman maybe is shading a little into the 4-hole. The third baseman Candelario is off the line at third. And Torkelson is stuck in behind the runner at first. And here comes the 0-1 offering for Brisk. He checks the runner and he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is grounded off the glove of Torkelson. It gets into right field. Kemp is going to score. That's 1 run in. And stopping at second base is Sheldon Noisy, and Jed Lowry's got himself an RBI single. The Oakland Athletics have broken the ice, and they're off to the races with a 1-0 lead here in the top of the first inning. That's going to bring up the first baseman, Seth Brown. For Brown, he's batting $169 on the season with 2 homers and 15 RBIs. One thing I will say about that last play by Torkelson, if Torkelson just stops the ball, even if he doesn't come up with it, that saves a run. The bases would be loaded. But as soon as that ball squirted through him, Tony Kemp raced around the bases from second base. Easy for him to score, and the A's have that 1-0 lead. There's a first pitch fastball delivered to Brown. It misses outside, and the count is 1-0. For those of you who aren't familiar with Bo Brisk was a late round pick of the Detroit Tigers. He was drafted in the 27th round, the 2019 draft. There's a changeup. This is down. The count is now 2-0 to Brown. He went to Colorado State University, Pueblo, Colorado. And what was interesting about him is that for him to get to the big leagues, he had a lot of great success in the minor leagues. He doesn't particularly overpower you, although he can run it up to 95, as we've seen today. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is 2-1. He generally attacks the hitters, and he generally can throw strikes. That's been his mantra at the minor league level. But he's never been considered a top prospect in the Tigers organization. Of course, the top prospects being the arms of Casey Mize and Matt Manning and Alex Fado and others who are high premium picks. Even Tariq Skubal wasn't a high premium pick coming out of college. There's a changeup that catches the outside corner for a called strike, and the count is 2-2 because Greg Gibson said so, although I have to say Seth Brown has an argument there on that last pitch. He has the argument because Brisk really hasn't been around the plate, and to get that call on the outside corner, He hasn't really earned it to this point yet. So here comes the 2-2 offering. It's a fastball swung on it. Is popped up into shallow left center field. Coming in on it is the left fielder, Robbie Grossman. He makes the catch, and that is going to retire Brown for the first out of the inning. And that is going to leave it all up to Ramon Laureano to try to do some damage here with 2 on and 1 away. For Ramon Laureano, he finally got his first hits of the season. He is 3 for 14 in the series with an RBI. He started off the season going 0 for 10. He had missed some time, obviously, coming off a suspension for PED use. He gets the start in right field today. So Bo Brisk holds at the belt, and now he kicks and fires. There is a changeup taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Laureano. Laureano batting from the right side against the right-handed throwing Bo Brisk. He checks the side from his catcher Barnhart, and now he comes set. Noisy's got the lead at second, and it is a check swing that is fouled away. And the count now goes to 0-2 on Laureano. Our friend Troy Trolls is in the house, and he says, starting off bad again. Yeah, it's definitely not been a good start for the Tigers. First pitch of the ball game, Tony Kemp was like he knew it was coming, lined it right into right field. And that started the train going here for the A's in the first inning. First 3 batters have reached base. And here comes the pitch to Laureano. It's a fastball swung on it. It is belted foul down the left field line. 0-2. There's been some balls that have been hit hard here that have been foul off of the starter Brisk. I did watch Brisk's start against the Los Angeles Dodgers. And on the road trip that the Tigers were on, didn't call the game, but got a chance to watch it. And the one thing he did well against the Dodgers was able to keep them off balance. And there's a breaking ball that swung on and fouled away. And the count remains at 0-2. Former Detroit Tiger and Hall of Famer Jack Morris, I heard him talking about a week or so ago, and he was talking a little bit about the pitchers today. When he was pitching, he used to maybe only show 1 pitch, maybe 2 pitches first time through the order. He says the starters today will show their entire arsenal the first time through the order because in some cases, they're only going through the order a couple of times. So they're doing everything to try to get the hitters out. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count remains at 0-2 to Laureano. It was an interesting topic because he said he would, if he could get through a lineup the first time with only his fastball and establish that and working both sides of the plate, he said the next time through the order, then obviously he would introduce something else. He had a split finger fastball. He had his changeup. He had all kinds of other things in his arsenal. There's a breaking ball that misses down. Good block by Barnhart that time. That's going to run the count to 1-2. But when you think about it, you don't want to give all your pitches away to the hitters. Let them see it the first time through the order. You can start to sit on something. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And here comes the 1-2 offering from Brisk. He kicks and delivers. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted onto the right field line. Racing over is Austin Meadows, but it's going to get into the seats. And a guy with an Oakland Athletics jersey sitting in Detroit is going to come away with a souvenir for his troubles, and that's going to keep the count at 1-2 to Laureano. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. This is going to be the 8th pitch of the at-bat that Laureano is going to see here. He's really giving Brisk a battle. This will be the 22nd pitch of the inning. Brisk comes set at the chest. Checks the runner Noisy at second. Now he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down and away. The count now goes to 2-2. If I had to circle this as a game for Brisk, this would have been circled as a game that he could get himself into trouble. The Oakland Athletics are a very disciplined team at the plate. They're not swinging at a lot of bad pitches. They take a lot of pitches. They work the counts. And there is a breaking ball. It's chopped back to the pitcher. Brisk can't handle it, and it's through his legs, and it's going to be able to allow Laureano to reach first. That was a ball that was a clearly easy double play ball. Brisk tried to make the throw before he fielded the ball, and the ball ends up getting through his legs. And now that is going to load the bases full of Athletics. We're going to have to see how they're going to score that. So if you're watching the game live and checking out the feed, it'll be an error charged to the pitcher. So Laureano is aboard. Lowry goes to second. Noisy to third. The bases are now loaded with one out. There is a big inning brewing here in Detroit, the Oakland Athletics. So the pitching coach, Chris Fetters, had come to the mound, and now his conference is over after talking to his young right-hander. So Laureano is the runner at first based on that error. The Tigers are playing deep here. As they pan the infield, they're going to trade runs for outs or try to turn a double play all the way across the board as Christian Betancourt steps to the plate. And the first pitch to Betancourt's a breaking ball swung on it, is lined into shallow left center field. The ball's down. 1 run is in. And Robbie Grossman fields it. 2 runs are in. And the A's, just like that, have a 3-0 lead here in the first inning. Noisy has scored. Lowry has scored. And now that is a 3-0 scoreline for Oakland. One would have to think that the Tigers have got to start stretching somebody out down in the bullpen. So it's a 2-run RBI single for Christian Betancourt. Ramon Laureano was able to go all the way around to third on the base hit. So runners are on the corners with 1 out, and that's going to bring up Luis Barrera to the plate. Barrera gets the start in left field today. He's batting .250. He's got no homers and 1 RBI. Brisk holds at the chest. Now he kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. The Tigers have not scored a lot of runs in this series. They've been outscored 17-8. And yesterday, the Oakland Athletics put up 9 runs in that ball game. So Brisk, ready to go back to work. He throws a fastball. It's a check swing, and it just rolls foul over on the third base side. Jamar Candelario picks it up in foul territory. It's going to run the count now to 0-2 on Barrera. It's going to be a lot of pain here. Our friend Troy Trolls is in the chat here. Troy says they probably could have had 4 more wins had they not been making some of these errors. The problem that the Tigers have had, I mean, they've got a lot of problems. You can take a look at all aspects of the game. They're not hitting the ball enough. And here comes the 0-2 pitch. It's a fastball that misses outside. Count goes to 1-2 on Barrera. They're not getting enough timely hitting. So not hitting enough, not getting enough timely hitting when they do get runners on. Offensively, they've been challenged. Defensively, they played poorly in some cases defensively. And I say that when they're moving pieces around. Spencer Torkelson here in the first inning had a ball that could have been kept in the infield that got by him for a single. There was a foul ball that is lifted into the seats over on the third base side, and the count is 1-2. Troy says he feels bad for the fans who have to go to these games. To be honest with you, though, Troy, I mean, I remember going when some teams have been bad, whether it be out here in Seattle or in Detroit when I was back there. The reality of it is that you have to go and you have to just say, I'm going to go and watch certain aspects of the game. I can't watch the whole game globally because we know we probably aren't going to win. There's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is now 2-2. Or you're going and you're watching the other players, or you're trying to take some solace. But if you have to say, I'm going to go and cheer for my team, yeah, I'll support my team, but I actually have to go and watch aspects of the game, because otherwise, if I was focused on simply my team alone, I probably wouldn't go. So here comes the 2-2 offering. There's a pitch. It is a changeup swung on and missed. And Barrera has gone on strikes for the second out of the inning, and that is going to leave it up to the shortstop, Kevin Smith. When we watched the game the other day, the first game of that doubleheader, Kevin Smith got the start at third base. Today, he is giving Elvis Andrus the day off, and he's getting the nod at shortstop. So Smith is batting .217 on the season. He's got a homer and 9 runs batted in. As we mentioned the other day, he was involved in the Matt Chapman trade, as he and a package of Blue Jays went flying west to the Athletics. There's a first pitch breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Smith is 5 for 15 in this series. So another player that is enjoying the Detroit Tiger pitching. So here comes the 0-1 offering to Smith. Brisk delivers. It's a changeup that misses down and away, and the count goes even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. It's a beautiful day in Detroit, Michigan for baseball. The temperature at game time was 79 degrees. It's partly cloudy. The wind is light. It's blowing from left to right at 4 miles an hour. Brisk throws over to first base, and getting back, standing up, is the base runner, Betancourt. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Smith. This will be the 33rd pitch of the inning for Bo Brisk. Brisk holds at the chest. He kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Troy says it's absolutely gorgeous in the D today. One of those great days. We still are looking for anything moderately decent on the West Coast. The Pacific Northwest has been rain central. So here comes the 2-1 offering. Brisk holds at the chest, and he's ready to deliver. He kicks and fires. It's a fastball that swung on and fouled away. The count is 2-2. One thing we'll say about Brisk here is that he has got nothing right now that is fooling the Oakland Athletics. They are right on everything. Troy says, finally, summer is officially here, or so it feels like. Well, don't say that too loud, because probably in another week you might be back into the rain and stuff. It's been a really weird spring so far. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. It's a fastball. There goes the runner. Barnhart pump fakes. They got the runner from second and third in a rundown. That is Laureano. And Laureano is going to get tagged out trying to go from third to home. So Betancourt off to the races. They did a pump fake. They came up throwing, and they threw out Laureano from third. Poor piece of base running by Laureano. He will go into the books as 2-5 on the putout for the third out of the inning. And that is going to do it for Oakland in the first. Well, they got 3 runs in the inning. Lots of damage. There were 3 hits. There was an error, and there was 1 runner left the board. We're now through a half inning. It is Oakland 3, Detroit nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the bottom of the first inning. Just a couple moments. Here is our friend Steve Rademacher.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP Cheese. We have the Greek Freak. We have money from around the world. We have Lira. We have Yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers and OP-Chi baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the Royal Family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
Appreciate you, Steve. And we're going to give you the starting lineup now for the Detroit Tigers as they come to bat down 3-0 here to Oakland in the bottom of the first. Leading off and in left field is number 8, Robbie Grossman. Batting second and playing right field is number 17, Austin Meadows. Batting third and playing third base is number 46, Jamar Candelario. Batting in the cleanup spot is the designated hitter, number 24, Miguel Cabrera. Batting fifth is Harold Castro. He's playing shortstop. He wears number 30. Batting sixth is the second baseman wearing number 7, Jonathan Scope. Batting seventh in center field wearing number 9 is Willie Castro. Batting eighth and playing first base wearing number 20 is Spencer Torkelson. Batting ninth and doing the catching number 15, Tucker Barnhart. And they are facing James Caprillion. The right-hander is 0-2. 2 starts this season. He's pitched 7 2/3 innings. He's allowed 6 hits, 5 runs, all earned. He's walked 6 and struck out 9, and he's got an ERA at 5.87. So both of these starters here could be in for a short afternoon or a long afternoon, depending upon how you look at it. So Caprillion is ready to face the Tigers here in the bottom of the first inning. So he's ready to go to work. He rocks into the motion. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. I don't know a whole lot about James Caprillion, so I was doing a little bit of research on him. And what happened is Caprillion played his college ball at UCLA, and the one thing I found shocking was that he combined with another pitcher on a no-hitter, 10-inning no-hitter. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 2-0. But what was shocking to me about it was the first time in UCLA history that a pitcher had thrown a no-hitter. And UCLA baseball has had a long, storied tradition that no pitchers had thrown a no-hitter. I thought that was really, really strange. There's a fastball that swung on. It's popped up in the infield. The shift was on for Grossman. Camping out underneath it is Kevin Smith. He's making the catch. And that is going to retire Grossman for the first out of the inning. Our friend Troy asked the question, did the Eagles end up coming back last night? Actually, as soon as you went off the airwaves, they scored a couple of runs. They cut the lead to 3-2. For those of you who come in late night and listen to us, we do the Japanese games. And we were able to do a couple during the midweek here. And the Eagles had scored a couple back, and they had their chances to pile on more. It was actually a very entertaining game last night. The last 2 games were quite entertaining. Lots of action, lots of bunting, lots of hit and runs. There was a lot of solid defensive play. There were a lot of strategy involved. And sometimes you watch today's Major League Baseball and you compare it to what we watched last night. It's not even a comparison. There's a fastball that misses outside to Austin Meadows. So Austin Meadows is at the plate. He's hitting .281. He's got no homers and 11 RBIs. It is a power shortage right now for Meadows. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is now 1-1. Our shotgun shell is back in the house. William is here. Welcome. He says, great Bruins knowledge. So here comes the offering. It is a breaking ball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side, and the count now is 1-2. Troy says, I wish Major League Baseball did more bunt and run producing. Absolutely. It makes the game more entertaining. It's turned into a strikeout home run festival or home run derby. I was mentioning it last night in the stream, and Tommy John, the former left-hander, he was quoted as saying last year that the game has become unrecognizable to him, and there's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 2-2. And there's a lot of merit to some of that stuff. It's how the game is played has changed, and when you look at some of the analytics and you look at some of this stuff, I look at Detroit and I say, well, we could use a few guys to be able to bunt the ball and get guys over. We might have to play for 1 or 2 runs because we certainly can't play for 2, 3, or 4 in an inning. We're offensively challenged. So 3 balls and 2 strikes it is to Meadows. And I say we because growing up being a Tiger fan, it is difficult to watch. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded into the shift. It's fielded by the second baseman, Tony Kemp. He fires to first. And that is going to retire Meadows on a ground out 4-3 for out number 2. And that is going to bring up the third baseman, Jamar Candelario. So 2 up and 2 away quickly here for Caprillion. My friend Will says his buddy Nick Vander Teague was also a good UCLA pitcher. UCLA used to have a lot of players for a long time that got to the big leagues. They were producing guys left and right. And here comes the first pitch to Candelario. It's a fastball swung on and missed. The one thing, though, I will say about the UCLA program compared to the USC program, Rod Detto was the longtime coach at USC, and they were busy winning championships and producing. UCLA's mantra was trying to get players to get drafted. So in a lot of ways, they were a baseball meat market. There's a fastball that misses up to Candelario. The count is 1-1. And I say that because they weren't really concerned. They wanted to get their notoriety from the program of who got produced and who was drafted into the big leagues. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-2. The Hobby Hound is in the house. Welcome to you as well. Thanks for popping in. We appreciate you being here. It's double duty from last night today. Quick turnaround. There's a fastball that comes up and in under the chin of Candelario that backs him off the plate. That's going to run the count now to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. I was at a conference a few years ago and I had a chance to hear, was it Pat Casey was the coach at Oregon State talk. And when I heard him at the conference, I wondered how Oregon State would have even a chance to be able to win. There was a fastball fouled away. He had to be the most uninteresting coach to listen to. You wonder how he even connected with his players. And the reason I bring up him from Oregon State is the connection to that is I also saw the head coach from UCLA talk another year later after they'd won the national championship. There's a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded over to first. It's fielded by the first baseman, Brown. He steps on the bag. That is going to retire the Tigers quietly in their half of the first inning as Candelario grounds out the first for out number 3. Come back and we'll chat with the chat in a couple moments, but there was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 1 complete. It is the Oakland Athletics 3, the Detroit Tigers nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the top of the second inning in just a little bit. Hang tight, everybody.
Well, you got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. We'll be back in 30 seconds with the call at the top of the second inning. 3-0 Oakland. The Athletics are off to the races. The Tigers are stuck in some mud. We'll be right back in a couple moments. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the top of the second inning. It's going to be the 8-9 one-hitters in the batting order. That means Kevin Smith, Christian Pache, and Tony Kemp are going to be on to face Bo Brisk. Smith was up to bat when Ramon Laureano got caught stealing there in the first inning. So now Smith will be back here to lead it off in the second. And the Hobby Hound asked the question, we coached for a while, right? Absolutely, and still do, just not in an organized setting. And there is a pitch that misses down, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes to Kevin Smith. Smith is batting .217. He's got a homer and 9 RBIs, but the Tigers have helped prop him up. He's 5 for 15 in the series. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is belted foul down the left field line. It's going to run the count to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Smith. Our friend Troy says The Tigers remind him a lot of the Twins last year, high expectations with veteran players, and it didn't materialize. And that might be a good comparison. I think the expectation for the Tigers was high, but also, too, you got to realize that, or we have to realize that Casey Mize, Matt Manning, who there was huge expectations, 40% of your rotation went down in the first week of the season. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Brisk rocks into the motion. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right field. Moving back on the warning track is Meadows. He leaps. He makes the catch up against the wall, and that is going to retire Kevin Smith for out number 1. He took it for a ride, did Smith, but unfortunately for him, it was right to the glove of Austin Meadows as he was on the warning track, landing up against the wall for out number 1 here in the second inning. That, to me, would be the biggest concern about Bo Brisk. This is so much his velocity. He's been up at 95 miles an hour. But is the fact that the A's have hit some balls really hard here in the first inning, or first couple innings. There's a 94-mile-an-hour fastball misses up to Christian Pache, and the count is 1-0. Pache is hitting 172 on the season with a couple of homers and 8 runs batted in. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes to Pache. Those last 2 pitches from Brisk looked pretty decent. There's a fastball that misses down and in, and the count is now 3-0 to Pache. I think if Brisk gets through 5 innings today, it would be a miracle for the Tigers. This has been an absolute slog for the right-hander so far. And here's the offering. It is a fastball. Take it for a called strike. Christian Pache was ready to start his trot down to first base, but it's pulled back by the right hand of Greg Gibson. So 3 balls and 1 strike. Here's the offering from Brisk. It's a fastball swung on. It is belted on 1 hop to third. Candelario dives to his left. He makes the stop. He comes up throwing. They're able to get Pache at first. That's going to go down as a ground out, 5-3. A very stellar defensive play by the Tiger third baseman. As we get it again on the replay, it's a 1-step dive to his left. He does a little 360 and throws over to Spencer Torkelson. Great play by Candelario, flashing the leather. And they were able to make it a lot easier than what it was. Pache really runs well, but again, as we said, some of the balls that have been put in play and some of the balls fouled away have been hit hard on Brisk. There's a first pitch breaking ball delivered to Tony Kemp, but swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Tony Kemp. Kemp is 1 for 1 today. He singled and stole a base and then later scored a run his first time up. And here's the delivery from Brisk. It is a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded on 1 hop to Torkelson at first. He flips it over to Brisk covering, and that is going to do it for Oakland. Goes down as a ground out, 3-1 for the 3rd out of the inning. So for the Athletics in their half of the second, there was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're through 1.5 in Detroit. It's the Athletics 3, the Tigers nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with the call of the bottom of the second inning. Thanks for stopping by today.
Hello, kids. Steve coming at you. It's Steve Rademacher. And if you like interesting stuff, if you like to laugh a little bit, and if you enjoy collecting, this channel's for you. If you like non-sport cards, we have them. You like pseudo-sport cards, we open them. Even if you like entire boxes of completely pointless stuff or other sports, we have everything here. I drop a different video every day, and there's always a theme to it, from No Filter Friday to Saturday morning cartoons, even Sunday shoutouts. Once in a while, we'll get a little froggy and show Money Money Monday, where I showcase a bunch of my currency. We have Legos, we have Star Wars, we have a good time. We even have my brother on Takeover Tuesday. Be there or be square. Back to Freddy.
Thanks again, Steve. We appreciate you and your support of the channel. Be sure to check out Steve's Takeover Tuesday from this past week. His brother did the channel. If you like the Milwaukee Brewers, or even if you hate them, it had a Brewer theme to it. I thought the first 3 minutes of the video were classic, and the last 2 minutes of the video were classic, and in between, well, you get to watch what they have to offer. So be sure to check that out. That is Steve Rademacher and his channel. Be right back in 30 seconds, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the Heart of the Tiger batting order to face James Caprillion here in the second inning. And the first pitch delivered to Miguel Cabrera as a fastball swung on it is popped up over on the right side of the infield. Drifting over to his left is Tony Kemp. He's going to make the grab. And with one pitch, there is one away here for the Tigers in the bottom of the second inning. That's going to bring up the shortstop, Harold Castro. For Harold Castro on the season, he's been one of the bright lights with the bat. Batting .294 with no homers and 3 RBIs. For Castro, he really is not a patient hitter. He is one of those ones that does not have a lot of what I would call patience at the plate, doesn't take them deep into counts. In his career, over the 5 seasons he's been with the Tigers, there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Castro. He's walked 30 times, but he has struck out 182 times. And this year here in 54 plate appearances, he's only got a couple of walks as opposed to 11 strikeouts. Here's the 0-1 pitch. There's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is 1-1. Castro is one of those type of players that his batting average and his on-base percentage are almost the same. It's because of such few walks that he has. Here's the 1-1 pitch. There's a breaking ball that catches the outside corner, and the count now goes to 1-2. But like the old saying is you can't walk off the island in the Dominican. This Venezuelan-born player has that same mantra. Troy Trolls says, is it safe to say the Tiger hitting coach is in the hot seat? And there is a fastball that is swung on. This ball is lifted down the left field line, and it is going to be caught in foul territory by the left fielder Barrera as he runs into the netting on the left field line, and he is going to be gone for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 away. Well, Troy asked the question, is our hitting coach in the hot seat? I don't know if I would necessarily say that. I think maybe something that has to be looked at more than anything is just the organizational philosophy. The hitting coach is Scott Coolbaugh, the former Texas Ranger, and they have an assistant hitting coach, and that is Mike Hessman. And so sometimes at the major league level, it's not always about the mechanics like you would see maybe at a younger level, although the mechanics do come into a question as well. There's a breaking ball that is delivered to Jonathan Scope. It's taken for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Scope is hitting 152 with a couple of homers and 6 RBIs. There's the offering from Caprillion. It's a breaking ball swung on and missed, and now the count is 0-2. So back to the hitting coaches, the question is, are they the problem? Well, it may not necessarily be the big league coaches as much as it is the organizational philosophy. What are they looking from their players from top to bottom? And there's a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded softly to short. It's fielded by the shortstop Smith. He throws to first. And Scope is going to be retired on a ground out 6-3 for out number 3 here in the second inning. So I'll give you some more thoughts on the Tigers hitting woes in just a moment. But there were no runs in the inning. There were no hits. There was no errors and nobody left the board. We are now through 2 complete in Detroit. It's Oakland 3, Detroit nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes with the call of the top of the third inning. We're glad you guys could be here with us checking this out today. Here is friend Matt Hollis.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city, San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's another Hollis build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for checking out Last Raps. We had some winners in last month's mystery pack giveaway. The names right here, and maybe here are the winners. Make sure you are following the instructions on our other video to qualify this month for a pack of mystery cards from Zero Fox Sports Cards. Thanks for checking it out. Enjoy the ball game.
Appreciate you, Dave, and your support, as well as Matt Hollis. We are back here now in the top of the third inning as Bo Brisk is back on the hill. It is going to be Sheldon Noisy to lead it off, and he takes a first pitch breaking ball for ball one, and the count is 1-0. It'll be Noisy, Lowry, and Brown here in the top of the third inning. Noisy today walked his first time up and came around to score the second run of the ball game. There is a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Noisy. Noisy's hitting .290 on the season with those 2 homers and 14 RBIs. He's waiting on the offering from Brisk, who rocks into the motion. And he kicks and fires, and there is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Noisy. Noisy will be followed by Jed Lowry and Seth Brown here in the top of the third. Oakland jumped out to that 3-0 lead in the first inning as they blitzed Bo Brisk. There's a breaking ball swung on and tap foul over on the third base side, and the count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Tigers are definitely struggling right now at the plate. And we started talking a little bit about the last inning about should the hitting coaches be on the hot seat. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 2-2 to Noisy. As I said, one of it is the organizational philosophy. 2 is then you have to look at a couple of things. One is the approach at the plate that the Tigers have and what they're trying to get and execute from their players. So I often wonder sometimes if the hitting coaches today are being, say, manipulated or controlled, and there's a fastball swung on. This ball is hit into left field. It's going to get down. Robbie Grossman has picked it up, and making the turn at first base is the runner Noisy, and he is able to get himself a long single as Grossman is able to get that one back in. And Noisy is aboard with a base hit here. So thinking about the hitting coaches again, because as I say, the organizational philosophy is one thing. The other piece is also to the way that the Tigers are operating. The analytics also plays a huge role in this, whether you like it or whether you don't. And it bugs me a little bit because it's taking the strategy out of the game. And we say often, we kind of joke about it amongst some friends of mine in the coaching fraternity, and we say, who won the World Series when the Dodgers won it? Was it Dave Roberts as the manager, or was it his computer? Because if his computer is making all these decisions based on these analytics, what do we need the manager for in the dugout? Just let the computer sit there. And sometimes you have to make decisions in situations that, yeah, you have your statistical information, but at the same point in time, it's not the be-all and the end-all. There's a fastball that misses off the outside corner, and the count is now 2-0 on Lowry. So we appreciate that, William, and your support of our channel, and for you to listen in. It's a great time, and it's a fun time to be able to do some of this stuff. I'll come back to the more thoughts on the hitting coaches throughout the game here, and not just the coaches. But one thing that I'll tell a story. There was a former Detroit Tiger I was aware of was coaching in the Milwaukee organization. And some of the guys will remember the 84 World Series champions. And it was Darrell Evans, as the story goes. There's a fastball that misses outside. So Darrell Evans was the manager of the A-ball team. I don't know if it was high A or low A. And for those of you who don't remember, Evans was the first baseman for the 84 Tigers. He had spent a career with the San Francisco Giants and the Atlanta Braves. Anyways, the story on Darrell Evans is when he was getting players that were coming to A-ball, he was overriding the hitting coach and the instructions that the hitting coaches were being given. There is a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to 3-1. So he would tell some of the young hitters to come, hey, try to pull everything. If you're not going to get to the big leagues if you can't hit with power. And of course, usually when guys are trying to pull everything, their batting averages start to sink. And not all players are built for power. And so the word got out that Evans was telling some of his players and overriding the hitting coach. And he ended up not having a job very long in the Milwaukee organization. When they had to make some changes, he was eliminated, or one of the reasons why he was eliminated at that time. There's a fastball that misses down to Jed Lowry, and that is going to allow Lowry a base on balls. That's going to move Noisy over to second. And Bo Brisk is getting himself back into trouble here with the first two hitters on in the third inning and Seth Brown coming to the plate. So sometimes that happens too in the organizations where you have people that are not on the same page. They're not singing the same languages. So I don't know that about the Tigers, if Coolbaugh or Hessman are not on song. So sometimes fans will look at the results and say, hey, it's got to be the hitting coaches. Well, sometimes it's also the players that you have. Are the players making the adjustments? Are the players listening to some of this stuff? And I'll give you another example on that. Sometimes the hitting coaches will go to bat for a player, and I'll just pick somebody randomly on the Tiger Major League roster right now that's not doing very well. And let's say it is, for example, who's hitting 152 is Jonathan Scope. Now, Scope's a veteran player. He's probably not going anywhere. See, fastball swung on. This is popped up into left field. Coming in underneath it is the left fielder Grossman. He's going to make the catch. And that's going to retire Seth Brown on one pitch for the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up the right fielder Ramon Laureano. So as an example, you get a guy like Jonathan Scope, and Scope is struggling. And I'm thinking more along the lines in the minor leagues where a player is not producing, not getting the numbers, and the word comes down from the big league office and they say, hey, look, this guy's struggling. Should we release him? And sometimes the hitting coaches will go to bat for him and say, you know what? We've asked him to make changes in his swing, and he's doing what we're asking him. Let's give him another couple of weeks. There's a fastball swung on. It's lined right back to the pitcher. It's off of Brisk. It takes his glove off. It deflects over to the shortstop Castro, who fields the ball. He fires to first, and Laureano is retired. Bo Brisk almost got his head taken off on that line drive as it was drilled right back up the middle, and it turns into a 1-6-3 double play. Fantastic play by the shortstop to be able to cover it up, and they are able to get Laureano to retire the side. If you get a chance to look at SportsCenter tonight, that's got to be on it, as Brisk was almost decapitated by that line drive. So in the half inning here in the third, there was no runs. There was one hit. There was no errors and one runner left aboard. We're moving to the bottom of the third. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back in just a couple moments with the call of the bottom of the third inning. I'll carry on my conversation about some of this stuff to do with hitting and what the teams will look at as well. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out the game and Last Raps Baseball. This is Dave, Zero Thought Sports Cards. If you like pack openings, baseball, all that good stuff, check us out. Drop a comment on our channel this month to win a mystery pack of cards. All you gotta do is say Last Rap sent you to be entered. And we'll drop a video later on this month announcing the winner. Enjoy the game.
Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the bottom of the third inning, and the Tigers are trailing 3-0. I'm not sure if our friend Troy is still in the house here. I know he pops in and out from time to time. And I don't know if you heard the story about when I was in Japan. I told the story some time back about the big league player that I'd met when I was in Japan on my holiday. So if you haven't, I'll be happy to tell it to you as we're watching the ball game here. And here comes the first pitch to Willie Castro. It is swung on and fouled away, and it's going to be grounded past the first base coach's box for strike one. Castro's batting .306. He's got no homers and 1 RBI. But back to the other part where we were talking about some things. And one of the things that, at least for me, is having the opportunity to be around some guys who have been able to do some coaching at, some of the other levels or some scouting and stuff and being around in this industry. There's a fastball that is swung on, and it is a single hit into right field by Willie Castro. The Tigers have their first hit of the ball game. Castro continues his hot play of late as he has now raised his season batting average up to .324. That's going to bring up the first baseman, Spencer Torkelson. As the weather is getting warm in Detroit, this is the player who also needs to get warm in Detroit. Torkelson is waiting on the first pitch from Caprillion. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count is 0-1. Torkelson is probably in a situation where you'd have to look at it and say he's got to get sent back down to the lab. In other words, we got to send him down to AAA, and he's got to get some kinks out. He is hitless in the series. He's batting .149 with those 3 homers and 8 RBIs on the season. There's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. I was thinking about the hitting coaches, whether it be the organization or whether it be the philosophy of every team. They sometimes will have certain ways that they want to get things done, and there's a breaking ball that is taken for a called strike, and the count is now 1-2 on Torkelson. The one word I would use to describe Torkelson right now for the Tigers is overmatched. Overmatched by the pitching that he is facing these days, and its numbers are showing it. But usually the better hitters are the ones who will make the adjustments back. I think of Andrew Vaughn with the Chicago White Sox a couple of years ago. He was considered the best bat in the draft. There is a changeup swung on and fouled away. The count remains at 1-2. So Spencer Torkelson, definitely the most advanced bat in the 2020 draft. And that's why the Tigers made him the first overall pick. But there is some concern. Have they pushed him along a little too quickly? And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that misses upstairs. The count is 2-2. The other thing the Tigers really miss is Riley Green. Riley Green was probably going to make the big league club out of spring training until he broke his foot. Of course, now they're going to have to wait for him for another month or so to get back. He should be possibly in June sometime, or end of May, early June, at least, to begin getting some playing time in the minor leagues. Caprillion throws over to first base, and diving back in time was Castro. So Caprillion looks in, and he gets his sign from the catcher, Betancourt. He kicks and he fires. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 3-2. So it looked like it was going to be a pretty quick at bat. Spencer Torkelson has battled the count back to full here. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Castro establishes his lead at first base. We'll keep an eye here if he's going on the 3-2 pitch. There's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away. That's going to keep the count still at 3-2. So now it's turned into a real quality at bat, as this is going to be the 8th pitch of the at bat coming up to Torkelson. I know recently the Tigers we're playing a little bit of small ball at the big league level, and I'd like to see a little bit more of it. But when you look at their lineup from top to bottom, and you really wonder who can bunt and who are you taking the bat out of the hands of. And there's a ball thrown over to first base, and diving back in time is Castro. I look at the lineup, I say, well, Jamar Candelario probably could bunt, but you've got him in the 3-hole. So you're probably not going to take the bat out of his hands right now. He is swinging a better bat, even though he's hitting 207 entering today's game. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and that is ball 4 to Torkelson. That was a competitive at bat for Torkelson. That's going to put runners at first and second. And that is going to bring up Tucker Barnhart. Troy says only Hill bunts. Yeah, and when you look at some of the guys at the bottom part of the order, Willie Castro, he needs to be putting the ball down, although he is swinging well right now. Harold Castro, another guy, although he has been swinging well this season, probably needs to put the ball on the ground. Jonathan Scope has not been swinging well this season. There's no reason he shouldn't be able to push guys along. But when you look at the overall fundamental skills of the Tigers, that becomes a problem. When I think back of a few years ago, they used to have a catcher, Gerald Laird, whose brother was playing in that game last night for the Chibalote Marines, and there was a fastball swung on and fouled away. And it is no balls and 1 strike to Grossman. And I think about that. Gerald Laird used to, when he was with the Tigers, the big sloppy catcher could drop bunts down and beat him out for base hits. Every once in a while, the third baseman would be standing heels to the grass, and he would come up and drop a bunt down. And even though he waddled, he could still get to the baseline pretty good for an old catcher. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes to Barnhart. Or check that, 1 ball and 1 strike to Barnhart. There's an old saying, walk a lot, score a lot, win a lot. Well, if you can bunt, you might as well get that into the package too. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count goes to 2-1 on Barnhart. Barnhart has got it going now for Detroit. He's hitting 266. He's got no homers and 2 RBIs. The 2-time Gold Glove winner was brought over in an offseason deal with the Cincinnati Reds for Nick Quintana. Nick Quintana was a prospect that the Tigers had taken out of the University of Arizona. And unfortunately for Quintana, he really wasn't delivering for the Tigers in the minor leagues. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. So for the Cincinnati Reds, it was a salary dump, getting rid of Barnhart's contract. Getting Quintana was a low-grade prospect that the Reds might be able to revitalize his career at the minor league level. A change of scenery sometimes does well. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Barnhart. And here's the pitch from Caprillion. It's a breaking ball swung on and tap foul. It's over by the first base dugout, and the count remains at 2-2. So I'd asked the question, Troy, when you were in here a minute ago. I couldn't remember if you heard the story about the former big leaguer that I'd met in Japan. And if you hadn't heard it, I would tell it. If you hadn't, I would. Our friend the Hobby Hound is heading out for lunch. We appreciate you being here and checking in. And we thank you for your support of the channel as well. So hopefully we'll catch you around again. Enjoy your time. I think the Hobby Hound calls Colorado his home. Hopefully you're having a great day in that great state. There's a fastball that is swung on. This is going to be lifted into the seats over on the first base side. And that is going to keep the count at 2-2. It was interesting, though, what I was going to talk about. I'm not going to tell the story again, but what I did talk to the fella about was we were chatting a little bit about hitting. He does some hitting instruction, I guess, in Rochester Hills. He's calls Michigan his home these days, and he does some work with some of the high school kids. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to first. It's fielded by the first baseman, Brown. He fires to second to get the runner, Torkelson, and instead of coming back to first, the shortstop Smith tries to backdoor the runner going to third. And as he does that, Willie Castro has to dive back into the base safely, almost overran the bag. Really heads-up play by Smith. He takes the look. He didn't have the play at first base, but he tries to come back on Willie Castro, but Castro dives back safely. So that's going to go down as a fielder's choice on Barnhart. It erases Torkelson 3-6. He's gone for the first out of the inning. It moves Willie Castro to third. And that is going to bring up the top of the order, Robbie Grossman. What I was mentioning about with the story I was telling you about, one of the things that he was talking about, and just so that you know, we're talking about Scott Lusader, the former Tiger and New York Yankee. He was, in his mind, he thought that the high fastball was the most important piece of hitting. If you couldn't hit the high fastball, you couldn't catch up to it, it was a problem. There's a breaking ball that misses up and away, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Grossman. And check that, 1 ball and no strikes to Grossman. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. We're putting a lot of stuff on stuff. So 1 ball and no strikes to Grossman. He's 0 for 1 today. He has popped to the shortstop his first time up. And Caprillion kicks and delivers. There is a changeup swung on and missed, and now we're at 1-1. So I guess I was, in some ways, predicting the future, as it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Grossman. Grossman will be followed by Austin Meadows, as we're in the top part of the Tiger batting order. Runners are on the corners. Castro Willie is at third. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 1-2 to Grossman. Tucker Barnhart is the runner at first. They're playing the defense in a no doubles defense. Laureano and Pache and Barrera are all deep. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses down and in. They appeal over to the third base umpire, and they said that Tomlinson, the third base umpire Tomlinson, says that Grossman did go. It's an important strikeout here for Caprillion as he retires Grossman for the second out of the inning, and that's going to leave it all up to Austin Meadows. I was telling the story about a little bit of the story about the approach at the plate. If you can't hit the high fastball, you're not going to be able to survive in today's game. And in some ways, he's kind of right, because the pitchers have started to come back to the high fastball with all this talk about launch angle and about trying to elevate the balls and so on and so forth at the major league level. As pitchers have started to go up high in the strike zone, they were able to get their hitters, because the hitters are not staying on top of the ball. They're swinging upward or having an upward trajectory. They're swinging through some of those high fastballs. So he felt if you can't hit the high fastball, you're going to have a hard time surviving in the major leagues. And he's probably right. So that first pitch to Meadows was down for a ball. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's a breaking ball that misses down in the dirt. The count now goes to 2-0 to Meadows. So 2 balls and no strikes to Austin Meadows. Castro is the runner at third. Barnhart is still stuck at first. It's 2 balls and no strikes to Austin Meadows. We're here in the bottom of the third inning. Detroit is trailing 3-0. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is grounded past the diving first baseman, but the second baseman, who is playing the rover position in right field, Tony Kemp, makes the play. He gets up and he throws it to first, and that is going to retire Austin Meadows. It's going to go down as a ground out 4-3. The first baseman, Brown, dives to his right, can't get the ball, but Kemp, who is playing very deep, is able to get to the ball, and he throws it back to the first baseman covering the bag. There is a position where you can say that the shift paid dividends and worked, and that retires Austin Meadows for the third out of the inning. There were no runs in the inning. There was 1 hit. There were no errors, and there were 2 runners left aboard. Now through 3 completed Detroit. It is the Oakland Athletics 3, the Detroit Tigers nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with the call of the top of the 4th inning.
Domo arigato. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I'm new at this. Thank you for watching Last Raps Baseball. Tell all your friends and family to come check him out, ask some questions during the telecast, and give him a good sub and a thumbs up. And this is Steve coming back at you, and some new things on my channel. Star Wars figures. that everybody likes. We have Mad magazines from the 1970s. We try to avoid the Noid. And for your pleasure, once in a while, we can open up Michael Jackson if you want, the cards. We have Elvis. We have Sadahar O. We love everything that is everything, so we even have the Beatles fighting with lightsabers. Look at that, John and George. Once in a while, we'll even have my brother take over my channel on a Tuesday. So once again, everybody tell your friends, come see Freddie at Last Raps Baseball. And right now, I'm going to kick it right back to you, Freddie.
Appreciate you, Steve, and your support of our channel. And in turn, we like to support Steve Rademacher after the game. Be sure to check out his stuff as we are ready to get back to work here in the top of the fourth inning. It is going to be Christian Betancourt, Luis Barrera, and Kevin Smith to get things going here in the top of the fourth inning for the Oakland Athletics. We're getting a chance to see what's going on. Bo Brisk returning to the hill. And he kicks and fires a first pitch breaking ball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1 to Betancourt. Betancourt on the day has 1 for 1. He drove in a couple of runs his first time up. And here's the offering. It's a fastball that misses inside. And the count now goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Betancourt is the much traveled Christian Betancourt. Has been with a number of teams to his organization over his career. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away. And the count is now 2-1. Betancourt began his career way back in 2013 with the Atlanta Braves organization at the big league level as a 21-year-old, made his debut. He spent 3 years with them, and then he was with the San Diego Padres in 16 and 17. There is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 3 balls and 1 strike. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Betancourt. And here comes the offering to Brisk. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted foul right behind home plate. It's going to run the count to 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Betancourt. As we were saying, it was an interesting piece here. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Christian Betancourt. As we said, he's traveled around a little bit, and there's a fastball that misses down, and that is going to be ball 4 to Betancourt. He's going to get a leadoff walk. Not only has he batted, he also pitched at the big league level. The Padres tried to turn him into a pitcher in 2016 and 17. And we're not just talking about mop-up duty. We are talking about even minor league stuff as well. They had him on the hill for a couple of seasons for a total of 6 times. They thought he may have had a future there, but it sure didn't work out that way at the big league level. There was a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 on Barrera. So you go back and you look at some of his minor league numbers. He also spent some time in the Korean League. So here the offering to Barrera. It's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Brisk gets the sign from his catcher. He's ready to go back to work. He holds set at the chest. And now he kicks and delivers. There is a changeup that misses down, and the count is 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Barrera. Brisk is now approaching 70 pitches here in the ball game. He's in the top of the 4th inning. As we said earlier, I'd be shocked if he really got through 5. He did settle down after that rocky first inning. There was a fastball swung on and fouled away. Keeps the count at 1-2 to Barrera. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Tigers are in double play depth. Their second baseman, Jonathan Scope, has swung a little bit more into the 4-hole. Here's a pitch. It is softly grounded over to Scope, over to second for 1, but it is not going to be a double play. It was too softly hit. They do get the lead out, as Barrera does run down the line pretty good. He's going to reach on a fielder's choice. It'll erase Betancourt 4-6 for out number 1, and that's going to bring up the shortstop, Kevin Smith. So for Kevin Smith today, he is 0 for 1. He flew out to right field his first time up. It is a sparse crowd at Comerica Park in Detroit. Got a getaway game on a Thursday afternoon. There's nothing worse than watching two bad teams play on a getaway game. Brisk fires over to first, and diving back is the base runner Barrera. The Tigers are shading the hitter Kevin Smith over to the left side. The second baseman's Scope is almost right over the bag at second base. Brisk fires over to first, and getting back in time is Barrera. There's a gaping 4-hole there. If Smith could punch it through the 4-hole, then you're looking at possibly Barrera being able to go all the way to third. Let's see what kind of hitting that Kevin Smith is going to produce here. They've got him set up away. Look for the pitch away and go away. And there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into center field. Drifting over underneath it is Willie Castro. He makes the catch. Smith is going to be retired for out number 2, and that is going to bring up the center fielder, Christian Pache. So that right there is a question. And we're talking about hitting approach, and we're talking about information regarding that. So you think about at the plate, here's Kevin Smith with 1 out. You've got a gaping hole to the right side of the infield. They pitch him away. We got to be looking away. If he hits the ball on the ground through that 4-hole, Barrera with his speed could crawl over to third base and go first to third. But instead, even though the pitch was away, Brisk hit his spot. The hitter, with a long swing, pulls it and lifts a lazy fly ball into left center field. And so that was definitely not a competitive at bat. So Christian Pache steps up to the plate. He is 0 for 1 today. Pache grounded out to third his first time up. It was a really nice play by Jmar Candelario to erase Pache on his first trip to the plate. And here comes the pitch, and there goes the runner. But Barrera slams on the brakes. It was a fake steal. I would have thought that he might have kept going because he did have a decent jump. Sometimes what happens is there's organizational philosophies that will tell the base runner, if you see that the pitcher slide stepped, shut it down. So I couldn't get the angle whether or not that was what Brisk did or not. And again, there goes Barrera. This ball is swung on. It's grounded over to third. It's fielded by Candelario. And for the second time today, Candelario has erased Christian Pache on a ground out 5-3 for the third out of the inning. So for the Oakland Athletics and their half of the fourth, there was no runs, there were no hits, there were no errors, and 1 runner left the board. We are now through 3.5. It is the Detroit Tigers trailing the Oakland Athletics 3-0. Stick around, everybody. We're back in a couple of minutes for the call, the bottom of the fourth inning. Glad you guys could be in here with us today. Hold tight. Here is our friend Dave again.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for checking out Last Reps. We had some winners in last month's mystery pack giveaway. The names right here, and maybe here are the winners. Make sure you are following the instructions on our other video to qualify this month for a pack of mystery cards from Zero Fox Sports Cards. Thanks for checking it out. Enjoy the ball game.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom half of the fourth inning. It is going to be Jmar Candelario, Miguel Cabrera, and Harold Castro coming to bat for the Tigers in their half of the fourth. The Tigers have been offensively challenged here today. They've got one hit through the first three innings. It was a Willie Castro single in the third. Only had a couple of base runners as Spencer Torkelson had walked following Castro, but we're not able to do anything against the starter Caprillion. There's a first pitch fastball that misses down and in. The count is 1-0 to Jmar Candelario. Candelario today is 0 for 1. He grounded to the first baseman his first time up. And here comes the offering from Caprillion. It is a breaking ball that catches the outside corner. And the count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Caprillion working from the windup, he rocks into the motion. He kicks and fires, but instead, up goes the breaks from the home plate umpire, Greg Gibson. It was a very late call asking for time. I think if I'm Caprillion, I still throw the pitch, and I might even run it up and in on Candelario. There is a changeup that misses down and away, and the count is 2-1. Sometimes that happens. You always tell pitchers you want to finish your pitch. You don't want to hold that off in mid-motion. Sometimes guys can hurt themselves, so if you get that opportunity, let it fly. And if the guy calls time, let it fly at him. There's 3 balls and a strike. He's not going to get a word at the base if you drill him, so you might as well take your shot, especially if he's calling a late time. But more importantly, if he's doing it regular. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. And Caprillion rocks to the motion, and he fires it as a fastball that misses down and in, and Candelario is aboard with a leadoff walk here in the fourth inning. And that is going to bring up the DH, Miguel Cabrera. And Cabrera is 0 for 1 today. He swung at the first pitch and popped out to the second baseman his first time up. Cabrera got off to a good start this season, but even his bat has quieted off as of late. So Cabrera steps into the box, waiting on the first offering from the right-hander Caprillion. And the first pitch is a fastball that misses up and in, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes for Cabrera. Cabrera on the series is 4 for 13. His average on the season is at 265. As we said, he started off quite strong, and he went into a bit of a slump. But Cabby is showing that he can still play a little bit. There's a fastball taken on the outside corner, and the count is 1-1. He is much of a shell of his former self. He doesn't play much in the field anymore. Spencer Torkelson is pretty much getting the everyday duties. And Cabrera steps out and he waits. He's going to get himself back in the box. Not sure what's going on here. Cabrera's first time had something to say. There's a fastball that misses up. And the count is now 2-1 to Cabrera. You can tell just the way that Cabrera is acting and walking around there. He's not really happy with what's going on. Those are a couple of pitches that have missed inside. He's in a bit of a surly mood maybe today. We see Cabrera sometimes. He's shaking his head as he steps back into the batter's box. So are we going to have some fireworks here? Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Caprillion kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count is 2-2. We'll have to keep an eye on this, even if the at-bat is finished, if Cabrera has something to offer to the right-hander for the Oakland Athletics. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Caprillion gets the sign from his catcher, Betancourt. He holds set at the chest, and now he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on it. It's tapped slowly over to third. And that ball is fielded. They throw to second to erase the runner going from first to second. We're going to see, we didn't get any of the camera angle, but it looks like the Cabrera is grounded into a double play. All we get is the the third baseman feed. It was grounded to the third baseman, Noisy. He fielded it over to Tony Kemp, but we didn't get the backside on that as they focused right on the third baseman, Noisy. But that's a double play. Goes into the books as a 5-4-3 variety. And that is 2 out now here for the Tigers in the fourth, and that is going to bring up the shortstop Harold Castro. So just as watching the Tigers is poor, the camera work is also quite poor. There's a breaking ball to Castro. He swings at the first pitch. He lifts this into left center field. Drifting over to his right is Christian Pache. He hauls it in. And just like that, the Tigers go very quietly in their half of the fourth inning. So for Detroit in their half of the fourth, there was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now through 4 complete. It is the Oakland Athletics 3, the Detroit Tigers nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the top of the 5th in just a couple moments. Glad you guys could be here with us today. It's a beautiful day for baseball in Detroit. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the top of the 5th inning, and it's going to be the top of the batting order coming up for the Oakland Athletics against the Tigers here in the top of the 5th. It'll be Tony Kemp, Sheldon Noisy, and Jed Lowry to get things going for the A's. They're going to be facing Bo Brisk, who is on for his 5th inning of work. That in itself is probably an amazing feat. As Bo Brisk looked like he was dead to rights in the 1st inning. Give up all the runs, but he really has settled down. He has played very, very well. So it is Kemp, Noisy, and Brisk, or Kemp, Noisy, and Lowry to face Brisk. The first pitch delivered to Kemp is a fastball for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So Tony Kemp today is 1 for 2. He singled and scored a run in the 1st inning. He grounded the first his 2nd time up. He's 1 for 2 on the afternoon, and there's a breaking ball swung on it, is lifted into left field. Coming over is the left fielder, Robbie Grossman. He makes the catch, and that is going to retire Kemp on the 2nd pitch of his at-bat. So 1 up and 1 away, and that's going to bring up the 3rd baseman, Sheldon Noisy. For Noisy, he is 1 for 1 today. He walked and scored a run in the 1st inning. He singled in the 3rd. He's been on base twice today so far. He is living on the base paths this afternoon, and here comes the first pitch from Brisk. It's a breaking ball that misses up and in, and the count is 1-0. The Athletics so far today, 3-4-0. The Tigers 0-1-1. That's the line across. We are going to give you some out-of-town scores. There are some other action around the league. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. The count is 1-1. The other part about Bo Brisk is that early on, he was really giving up some loud, not just hits, but foul balls. Even that has settled down. His pitch mix has been better. He's been able to keep the hitters off balance. As we mentioned, for him to be able to get to the 5th inning accomplishment, there's a fastball swung on and missed. And the count is now 1-2 on Noisy. And Noisy is nodding in agreement that he didn't catch up to that one. That was a pretty good pitch by the right-hander Brisk. So here comes the 1-2 offering. Brisk rocks into the motion. He delivers. It's a fastball that misses down and away. The count is now 2-2. Right idea by Brisk. Came up and in and deduced a swing, and then the other one was away. The 1st inning has been the Achilles heel for Brisk this year. Here's a fastball or a changeup that misses down. The count is 3-2. As we say, the 1st inning, in 4 first innings, this is his 4th start. He's allowed 5 runs. In all his other innings, he's only allowed 5 runs. So So if he can get out of the first inning, then he's okay. There's a ground ball back to the pitcher. Brisk fields it. He runs toward first. The underhand flips it to Torkelson. That's going to go down as a ground out to 3 for out number 2. That is going to bring up the designated hitter, Jed Lowry. So for Lowry, he too has been on base twice today. He singled in the first and scored a run, and he walked in the third. He's officially 1 for 1. Lowry bats from the left side against the right-handed throwing Brisk. Brisk rocks into the motion. He kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0. Jed Lowry is that exact kind of player. He is an Oakland Athletic true and true. He began his career with the Boston Red Sox. He had a short tour with the Houston Astro organization. And this is his third stint with the Oakland A's. In between, he was with Houston. He went to the Mets. And now he's back with Oakland again. He's 38 years old. So that's 1 ball and 1 strike now to Lowry. As Brisk goes into the motion, he delivers a breaking ball. This ball is lifted into deep right field. Coming over to his left is Austin Meadows. He makes the catch. That's going to retire Lowry for the 3rd out of the inning. So the A's go quietly in their half of the 5th. And maybe we'll see Brisk for another inning. Who knows? No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board for Oakland in their half of the 5th. We're halfway through the ball game now. The Tigers are coming to bat. The score is 3-0 Oakland. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Glad you guys could pop in today. Here is our friend Steve again.
Hello, friends. Steve coming back at you, a clean-shaven Steve. Thank you for watching Last Reps Baseball. And please continue to support my channel among others, like Another Hollis Build. Awesome commercial. And now I'll show you a few more things that we do have. We have toys, like this bobblehead Star Wars on wheels. We have Noids. We can't keep avoiding them forever. We do have Legos. Love my Legos. We have Origami Folder. Check him out. He's new into this, getting started, has good following already. We have Red Beard Breaks. And we also have these things that, in a pinch, will tell you what your temperature is. So, if you like all of this, and if you like Last Reps Baseball, join all of us. We'd love to have you. And I know you would enjoy us. Thank you, peace, good night, and cheers.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's going to be Jonathan Schoop, Willie Castro, and Spencer Torkelson face the right-hander James Caprillion. There's a first pitch fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. For Schoop today, he is 0 for 1. He grounded to short his first time up. And here comes the offering. It is a breaking ball swung on and missed. And the count is now 1-1. Jonathan Schoop and J.R. Candelario really last year for the Tigers in 2021 carried the mail offensively. It was probably those two guys that had the most hits, or what I would say the most consistent hitting through the year. As there's a fastball swung on, it's grounded to short. It's fielded by Smith over to first, and Schoop is retired on a ground out 6-3 for out number 1. Just to finish off a bit there with Schoop, both he and Candelario, who they were expecting a lot of this year, to keep that same pace as they had last year, have been very disappointing. Candelario looks like he's starting to wake up a little bit. But Schoop is still in the doldrums as he was hitting 152 coming into today's game. So that brings up Willie Castro to the plate. Willie is 1 for 1 today. He singled his first time up. He's got the only hit of the game for the Tigers. There's a fastball swung on. And this ball is going to be sliced into left field. It's going to get down, and Willie's got his second hit of the ball game. as do the Tigers. So he's now 2 for 2, as he has been the offensive show for Detroit, and that's going to bring up Spencer Torkelson. For Spencer Torkelson, he is officially 0 for 0 today because he walked his first time up. He had a quality at bat against James Caprillion. He took him to 8 pitches. He was able to battle back from being in the hole 1 and 2. So Torkelson steps in. Torkelson was later erased on a fielder's choice. And here comes the first pitch. It's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0 to Torkelson. Torkelson is hitting 149 on the season with 3 homers and 8 RBIs. Tigers are going to have to do one of two things. They're either going to have to keep rolling him out every day, or they're going to have to send him down to AAA to work out some kinks, but he is getting a chance to play here. There's really nobody else. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 2-0. Cabrera has primarily been a DH for the Tigers this year. They have had Harold Castro play some first base. Jonathan Scope has played there as well, so they do have some other options that are not traditional first basemen for the Tigers. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is now 3-0. One would think with 3 balls and no strikes that Torkelson is not going to have the green light here. The way he's been swinging the bat, he's probably going to be taking a pitch here. Or at least I would have him taking the pitch. Here's the 3-0. There's a fastball that comes to the plate right in half and is going to run the count now to 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Torkelson. Tigers are looking to put something together here offensively. There's 1 out here in the 5th inning. Castro is the runner at first, and here's the 3-1 offering. It's a fastball that misses outside, and Torkelson's going to get his 2nd walk of the afternoon. And that is going to put runners at first and second, and that's going to bring up the catcher, Tucker Barnhart. So Barnhart is 0 for 1 today. He bounced into the fielder's choices first time up. Bats from the left side against the right-handed throwing Caprillion, but Christian Betancourt is going to go out and have a word with his young right-hander. Talk about how they're going to pitch Barnhart here. Barnhart is a double play candidate. He runs fairly well for a catcher, but he's not a speed demon by any stretch. So Caprillion ready to go back to work as the conference on the mound is over. The Tigers as a team are batting .219 with runners in scoring position. They are 0 for 3 today. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on. It is fouled off and hits the catcher, as that was nailed Betancourt in the thigh area, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Barnhart. Our question from Shotgun Shell says, at any level have you seen runners at the corners and the guy on first fakes tripping on his move to second and the guy at third steals home? There is a breaking ball swung on. This ball is driven to deep right field. It's going to get over the head of the right fielder. It's up against the wall. 1 run is in and 2 runs are in, and the Tigers have cut the lead. Actually, we'll check that there on a double by Tucker Barnhart. That's only going to be 1 run in. Is it going to be Spencer Torkelson has been held up at third base? I got to come back and get that one. That ball was absolutely scorched. Barnhart drives the ball over the head of the right fielder, Ramon Laureano. Laureano does a nice job playing it off the wall on 1 hop. Willie Castro came around to score. Torkelson was right on his heels. Not sure why they didn't send him. They looked like a track team that was ready to hand off the baton. Literally, he was only about 10 feet behind him. I thought for sure that he was going to get the wave through too. But the Tigers with a double from Tucker Barnhart are on the board. And that is going to bring up Austin Meadows. Or check that, Robbie Grossman. I'm all over the map here right now, everybody. I'm so excited that the Tigers got a hit and a run. We're losing our minds here. So Robbie Grossman steps up to the plate and he swung at the first pitch breaking ball. It's 0-1. And here comes the delivery from Caprillion. It's a fastball that misses down and in, and the count is 1-1. Something to finally get excited about. The Tigers got a hit, and it wasn't Willie Castro, who's got 2 of them today. Nice job by Barnhart to collect himself a double and an RBI. So the stage is set here. Torkelson's the runner at third. Barnhart's at second. And here comes the pitch. It is a changeup that catches the outside corner, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Grossman. Our friend Shotgun Shell 80 says you should have sent him. I agree. As I said, it looked like it was exactly like a track and field 4x100 relay. Torkelson was pretty much in his hip pocket. He sent one and held the other. I couldn't understand it. So here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded over to first. It's a race to the bag, and it is going to be won by the first baseman, Brown. They traded the run for the out. Torkelson is going to score. It's an RBI ground out for Grossman. The Tigers have their second run of the inning. As Torkelson has scored, Barnhart advances over to third, and that is going to bring up the right fielder, Austin Meadows. So the Tigers still trail the Athletics 3-2 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Got so excited. This game was kind of putting me to sleep. We had all the action in the first inning, and then it was just 3 up, 3 down, 3 up, 3 down. The occasional batter getting on base. The first pitch delivered to Meadows is a breaking ball, misses up, and the count is 1-0. So now we got some excitement in Detroit, something worth talking about. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Caprillion delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into shallow left field. Moving back on it is Kevin Smith. He's going to make the catch. And that is going to do it for the Tigers in their half of the 5th inning. So some excitement at Comerica Park in Detroit. The Tigers get 2 hits in an inning, and they score a couple of runs. There was 2 runs on 2 hits. There was no errors, and 1 runner left the board. We're now through 5 complete. It is the Oakland Athletics 3, the Detroit Tigers 2. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments. With the call at the top of the 6th inning, we're glad you guys could be here with us today. Here is our friend Dave again.
Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the game and Last Raps Baseball. This is Dave, Zero Thought Sports Card. If you like pack openings, baseball, all that good stuff, check us out. Drop a comment on our channel this month to win a mystery pack of cards. All you gotta do is say Last Rap sent you to be entered. And we'll drop a video later on this month announcing the winner. Enjoy the game.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name, and I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the top of the 6th inning, and we're getting something that I would not have expected. 84 pitches through 5 innings for the starter, Bo Brisk. And he is going to be run out to the mound here to start the 6th inning. He really settled down after that first inning where we thought he was going to get chased. He gave up 3 runs in the first. But here he is back on in the 6th inning to face the heart of the Oakland batting order. And the first pitch is a fastball delivered to Seth Brown that misses outside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So Brown, Laureano, and Betancourt here for the A's in their half of the 6th inning. And there is a changeup that is swung on and tapped foul. Is it foul or is it going to stay fair? There's no call from the umpire. And we are going to see that ball is what? What happens? We've got the foul ball is what it's been ruled, so its count is 1-1. So I'm not sure where that was. We saw the foul ball screwed into the ground, and 1 ball and 1 strike now to Brown. Not sure what the leash is on Brisk here as he's at 86 pitches. Here comes the 1-1 offering to Brown. Brisk rocks into the motion. He kicks and delivers. There is a fastball that misses outside. And the count now goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Troy Troll says we have new life. Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe second life. There's been some runs in the ball game and even some hits to talk about. There's a fastball that swung on, and that's fouled away, and the count is now 2-2. We'll get to that out-of-town scoreboard in between innings. We said we were going to do it a couple innings ago. There are a couple of games going on in the big leagues today. We got distracted when the Detroit Tigers had 2 hits in an inning. That's probably the headline news in the Free Press tomorrow. And here comes the pitch. It is a changeup swung on and missed. And Brown has gone on strikes for the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up the right fielder Ramon Laureano. Our friend Shotgun Shell says, what about those Mets down 6 in the bottom of the 9th? And to come back and to win it. The Mets are going to be amazing this year, especially with Buck Showalter on the bench. I got a lot of respect for that manager. There's a changeup that misses down, and the count is 1-0. Showalter is going to right that ship in New York. He's going to have them playing good fundamental baseball. There's a fastball that swung on. This ball is lifted into left field. Camping out underneath it is Grossman. He's going to make the catch, and there's 2 up and 2 away here in the 6th inning. That is going to bring up the catcher, Christian Betancourt. Betancourt today has been on base twice. He singled and knocked home a pair of runs in the 1st inning. He's also walked and was raced on a fielder's choice in the 4th. Bo Brisk is really settled down after that disastrous 1st inning, giving up 3 runs and throwing 35 pitches. We didn't think he was going to be around this long. This in itself is an accomplishment. There's a fastball swung on and missed. The count is 0-1. I don't know how long Brisk is going to stay in the big leagues, but he's definitely got some early war stories. As these outings have bought him at least 2 or 3 more starts. He's been fairly effective, kept the Tigers competitive. There's a fastball swung on and is grounded over to second. It's fielded by the second baseman, Scope. He throws to first, and that is going to do it for Betancourt. That goes down as a ground out 4-3 for out number 3 here in the 6th inning. So Oakland again goes quietly. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. That might be it for Brisk, as they do have a right-hander, Will Vest, warming up in the bullpen. We'll have to wait and see if he comes back out for the 7th inning. So after 5.5, it is the Oakland Athletics 3, the Detroit Tigers 2. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments after this from our friend Matt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city, San Diego, baby. I take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Appreciate you, Matt Hollis, and everything you do for us. And we hope that you can get some subscribers to your channel. Matt cracked the 1,000 subscribers earlier this year. He's got entertainment, all kinds of entertaining stuff. So if you get a chance, get over and check out Matt. He's a little bit more active in the summertime than he is in the other parts of the year. So now coming up to bat for the Detroit Tigers in their half of the sixth, it'll be Jmar Candelario, Miguel Cabrera, and Harold Castro. But before we get to that, we're going to take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. There was a game that was suspended yesterday between the Astros and the Twins. They picked it up in the fourth inning. The Astros have an 11-3 lead over the Twins in the middle of the eighth inning. The Twins will be coming to bat in their half of the eighth, down by 8. It is in the top of the seventh. The Baltimore Orioles have a 1-0 lead over the St. Louis Cardinals. Those are the only other games that are going on outside of the Mets and the Nationals. The Mets have a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the sixth over the Nats. 3-4-0 for the Mets, 0-3-0 for the Nats. And that's where that stands there. So all the rest of the games are later starts. There is a game coming up at 1:10 Eastern, and it will be the Astros and the Twins because they'll be playing after the completion of this one from that suspended game from yesterday. So here is the leadoff hitter, Jmar Candelario. It will be Candelario, Cabrera, and Castro. The 3 C's in the Tiger batting order. And all are bunched together. And here comes the first offering from Acevedo. That's a fastball that misses inside. And the count is 1-0. So Acevedo, Domingo Acevedo, is the new pitcher. This is going to be his 16th game of the season. He's worked 15 2/3 innings. He has struck out 14 and walked 4. He's got a 3.45 ERA. So it looks like a battle of the bullpens is about to ensue. There's a fastball ticket for a called strike, and the count goes to 1-1. So Acevedo on the mound here for Oakland. In the sixth inning, James Caprillion did a pretty good job. He seemed to lose a little bit there in the fifth inning. But he had a nice, strong outing today for Oakland. There was a changeup swung on and missed. The count goes to 1-2. They could have squeezed one more inning out of him. That would have been great. Troy says he loves it when the comebacks happen. Mr. Cap is in the house. He does say he is correct that Troy was correct that the Eagles were dead last night. The Eagles almost came back to life to cut the lead to 3-2. There's a changeup that misses down, and the count is 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. But Troy probably picked the right time to go to bed. Maybe another inning later, it would have been the right time for the lights to be out. There is a breaking ball that swung on and tap foul at the plate, and the count remains at 2-2. So there's no late night action for us tonight. We are going to be making the call tomorrow night. We'll be posting up our schedule either later today or early tomorrow morning. We are going to be calling a couple of Japanese games this weekend. There's going to be the Tohoku Rakuten Eagles and the Saitama Cebu Lions Friday night North American time. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is driven in the right center field gap. It's going to get down and it's off the wall. Picking it up is the center fielder Pache. Digging for third is Candelario, and he is going to be there safely standing up. And Candelario has a stand-up triple to lead off the sixth inning, and so the Tigers' bats are starting to wake up here. And that is going to bring up the designated hitter, Miguel Cabrera. For Miguel Cabrera today, he is 0 for 2. He is popped to the second baseman and grounded into a double play. So Cabby steps to the plate with the runner on third and nobody out. I haven't seen it yet, but if I'm Oakland, I'm probably got the infield in here. Let's see what the Athletics are planning in this situation. We don't have a good view of this, but we'll see if they're going to try to cut the run off at the plate. The first pitch is a fastball swung on. It is lifted to deep right field, and it's over the head of the right fielder, and it's off the wall. Laureano picks it up on a couple of bounces. Digging into second is Cabrera, and he slides in safely. And that is going to tie the ball game as Cabrera has got himself a double. Candelario scores easily from third. And it is all a new ball game here as the Tigers have knotted the score up at 3 apiece. So Miguel Cabrera has just tied Barry Bonds for most career doubles in Major League history. That was his 601st career double. He's now 17th on the all-time list. and does a great piece of hitting. That's vintage Cabrera. He drove the ball to the opposite field over the head of the right fielder. Probably in his younger days, that ball's probably 20 rows into the seats. So I have a feeling that is going to be the end of the day for Bo Brisk as he's talking to the pitching coach, Chris Fetters. And there is a first pitch breaking ball swung on and fouled away by Harold Castro, and the count is 0-1. So the Tigers are looking to get another victory here to salvage something out of this series. They won the first game and have dropped 3 straight. Something we were talking about earlier, we were talking about hitting and different things, and it's always sometimes hard to compare young hitters. And if you want to project power and you got kids playing all over the country in different leagues, and one of the things I look for is I look for guys who have doubles power. Can guys hit the ball into the gaps and hit doubles? Because the last thing to come to fruition in hitters is usually their power, the last thing to develop. As there's the breaking ball swung on and fouled away by Castro, and the count is 0-2. So if you can see a young hitter who can hit doubles, they can project into home runs. And that there was vintage Cabrera. His power is not where it was even 5 or 6 years ago. But that was a ball that he drove over the right fielder's head up against the wall. Those are the things that you look for. Cabrera is bouncing around at second base. Here's the pitch from Castro. It's a fastball that misses up. The appeal down to the third base umpire Tomlinson. He says he doesn't go, and the count is now 1-2 to Castro. Mr. Cap says Cabrera is doing veteran things. Good piece of hitting there by Cabrera. The pitch was outside, and he drove it the other way. Even if he didn't hit the double, the fly ball the other way would have been able to cash in Candelario from third base. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 2-2. If you're the Oakland Athletics, you're kind of lamenting yourself right now. You got those 3 runs off of Brisk in the first inning. It looked like he was dead to rights. They couldn't chase him, and then he settles down and gives the Tigers 5 more innings. Ended up being a quality start for Brisk. So 2 balls and 2 strikes it is here to the left-handed hitting Harold Castro. And here comes the pitch. It is a changeup that misses down and in, and the count is 3-2. On top of that, just thinking about the lost opportunity, Ramon Laureano got himself hung up between third and home. Tucker Barnhart did that great pump fake as if he was throwing down to second base to go after Betancourt. They ended up nailing Laureano at third. Laureano doesn't get thrown out in that first inning. It still would have been second and third. And the possibility of more runs being scored. But you never know what could have been. And there is a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left field. Moving back on it is the left fielder, Barrera. Tagging at second is Cabrera, but he does know his limits. And I was thinking about, are they going to pinch run for Cabrera there? But it's maybe a little too early in the 6th inning to do that. They would have had a pinch runner. Definitely that would have been somebody be able to go to third. But Cabrera, the way he runs these days, it's probably the right idea to hug the base. So that is going to be the first out of the inning as Castro has flown out to left, and that's going to bring up the second baseman, Jonathan Schoop. For Schoop today, he is 0 for 2. He grounded to shortstop both times up. He is 4 for 17 in the series. Acevedo kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strike to Schoop. I have to say, despite the fact that Schoop is not having a very good season for the first 5 weeks or 6 weeks of the year, I do like his professional approach at the plate. He is sure going to be able to turn this around. There's a breaking ball swung on. It's fouled off into the seats down the left field line. He's just proven over time that he can swing the bat at this level. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Willie Castro waits his turn on deck. He's been the hottest hitter of late for the Tigers. He's got a couple of hits today. There is action in the Oakland bullpen. It is A.J. Puck who is up and throwing. And here comes the pitch. It is a changeup that misses down, and the count is now 2-1. I haven't seen AJ Puck in a couple of seasons, but it looks like that he's starting to fill out a little bit. Maybe not always in the right places. It looks like his pant sizes have started to expand a bit. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Scope. The Tigers have the runner at second, which is Cabrera. There is 1 away here in the 6th inning. They're threatening to add another one to take the lead. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is popped up. It's behind home plate. Racing back and having room is Betancourt. He makes the catch. But they're looking at it and they're saying, is it into the netting? And Greg Gibson doesn't know. He's looking for some help. He's going to ask the first base umpire, and they may have to go upstairs for this one because they think it hit the netting. And they've ruled it as an out. The fans behind home plate are trying to influence Gibson as if it hit the netting, but that's an out. The Tigers are going to go and have a look at this. They're going to want to see the video replay on it. So we're going to catch it again. We're going to get our look on this. And I'm going to have to wait and see on this one and hold some judgment. As we see Betancourt get over to the screen, it looks like it was pretty good. I think Betancourt may have been okay on that one. The angles we see, it looks like he catches it and then he falls into the netting. But I think he's going to be able to secure that. There's the auxiliary scoreboard in behind. The umpires have got together, including Nick Marley, who's the first base umpire, who may have had an angle on it to be able to see it. But from what we can see, I think that that is a clean catch by Betancourt. At first, Greg Gibson pointed that it was hit the netting. But the manager, Mark Kotze for Oakland, had something else. Our friend Shotgun Shell said, I wonder what the computer said about pinch running there. Yeah, I thought about that. Were they going to get Cabrera out of the game? But in the 6th inning, probably a little bit too early. You still want to keep his bat around. He's going to have at least one more at bat, one would think, potentially. So they are going to be taking a look at this one as the play is under review. Jonathan Scope is hanging around. Personally, I think that's an out. I'd like for it not to be because obviously my heart still has the Detroit Tigers with them. For those of you who don't know. Growing up 20 minutes from Old Tiger Stadium, chance to see these guys play a lot. But I'm pretty sure that that is going to be ruled as an out. I don't think it hit the netting. And as I say, although Greg Gibson initially pointed to it that it did hit the netting, so we're going to have to see what the replay is going to say. We're still waiting here as Jonathan Scope is still looking at the scoreboard. AJ Hinch is still looking, but I think that, in my opinion, this is not going to be go in the Tigers' favor. It'll go in the Athletics' favor. So they say the call on the field is a clean catch. Well, that's not what Gibson had pointed out. So we'll see what the call here is when the umpires come back from their decision-making. Regardless, it'll be Willie Castro who is waiting his turn on deck. He's either coming up next or it'll be Jonathan Scope still to hit. I really don't know what's taking this so long. We've seen about 4 or 5 different angles. As far as I'm concerned, that was a clean catch that Betancourt had made. And this is the problem that I find with Major League Baseball and with all these replays, whether it's the NBA and basketball, the NHL. They're saying we want to get the play right. In the quest to wanting to get the play right, and not letting the officials officiate, it breaks up the continuity of the game. The pitcher, Acevedo, is waiting around. We've already had 2 minutes burned here. And so here comes the call from the plate umpire, Greg Gibson. As we're waiting, he's giving his explanation. And that looks like it is going to retire Scope for the second out of the inning on a pop out to the catcher. He is gone for out number 2. So the call on the field stands. Now that's going to bring up Willie Castro to the plate. So Willie Castro is 2 for 2 today. He singled and was stranded at third in the third inning. He singled and scored a run in the fifth. He bats here with 2 away and the runner Miguel Cabrera at second base. As we're thinking about the base runner again, a single here may not necessarily score Cabrera from second. And here comes the first offering to Castro. It's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into shallow left center field. Coming hard is Christian Pache. He makes the catch. And that is going to do it for the Tigers in their half of the sixth inning. Detroit gets one back and they tie it up. It was the RBI double by Miguel Cabrera. The run scored was Candelario. They got 1 run in the inning. There were 2 hits. There were no errors and 1 runner left aboard. We're now through 6 complete. It's the Detroit Tigers 3, the Oakland Athletics 3. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in a couple minutes with all the action. Glad you guys could be here with us today for some morning or afternoon baseball, depending upon where you're at. Welcome back, everybody. We're knotted up at 3s. We're going to the top of the 7th. We'll be back in just a minute. There's a little bit of music to wind you up a bit. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the top of the 7th inning. It's the bottom third of the batting order coming up for Oakland, and that means it's going to be Luis Barrera, Kevin Smith, and Christian Pache. Our friend Troy Trolls says we have a game on our hands, and we sure do today. Finally, something worth listening to and watching. There is going to be a pitch change as the day is done for Bo Brisk. We are going to get Will Vest onto the hill. Vest is in his first year with the Tigers. He was actually a Rule 5 pick by the Seattle Mariners last year. He made his major league debut in 2021 with the Mariners. As they plucked him out of the Tigers system, there was a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Luis Barrera. Vest last year was taken off the Tiger minor league scrap heap, so to speak. He pitched really well for the first 5 weeks of the Mariners. The deal is they got to keep him a Rule 5 pick on the major league roster for the whole season. And he basically pitched really well. So as good as he pitched in the first 5 weeks, he completely stunk it up in the next 5 weeks. There was a fastball that swung on and fouled away. The count is now 0-2 to Barrera. So Barrera asks for time and he steps out. So when the Mariners saw enough of what they wanted to see from Will Vest, they had to offer him back to the Tigers before they could send him down. And the Tigers took him back and they were able to sort him out. And now he is pitching here in the big leagues with the Tigers in 2022. There's a fastball that misses upstairs and the count is 1-2. Brisk done for the ball game after giving the Tigers 5 strong innings. The first inning was the dicey one. So Will Vest taking over here, and there's a fastball at 96 miles an hour at the knees. Barrera stood there like the house by the side of the road and watched it go by for out number 1 here in the 7th inning. That's going to bring up the shortstop, Kevin Smith. For Vest on the season with the Tigers, he's 0-1. This is his 11th game that he's appeared in. He's worked 13 2/3 innings. He's only allowed 4 hits. 2 runs, all of which have been earned. He's walked 3, but he has struck out an impressive 16 batters. With the first out here of Barrera, make that 17. So here comes the first pitch to Kevin Smith. It is a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-0. Vest had an ERA of 1.32 entering the ball game, but his whip was also most impressive. The whip is your walks plus hits divided by your innings pitched. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. For those people who don't know, usually anybody with a 1.3 whip or lower is considered to be pretty good. Well, Vest is at 0.5. Means guys are only getting on base a half of the time per inning. So there's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted foul down the right field line. Spencer Torkelson races over towards the tarp, but it's going to reach the seats. It's going to run the count now to 1-2 on Smith. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Our friend Troy says the Tigers have pitched good this year, and Vest has been dominant. It's true, Will Vest has really come off and done very well out of the Tiger bullpen. The Tigers have had some good pitching. They really haven't had a lot of shaky outings, especially from the bullpen. A couple of years ago when the bullpen would come in, you were biting your nails. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into right field. Camping out underneath it is Austin Meadows. He's going to make the catch, and that is going to retire Smith for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to leave it all up to the center fielder, Christian Pache. For Pache, he is 0 for 2. Both of his outs have come at the expense of ground balls to the third baseman, Jamar Candelario. And he is ready to face the first offering from Vest, who kicks and delivers. It's a fastball at 97 for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Pache was acquired in the Matt Olson trade from the Atlanta Braves before the season started. He was considered the top prospect in the Atlanta organization. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away. The count goes to 1-1. Injuries last season held Pache back, but there's a lot to like about this young fella. There's a breaking ball, check swing fouled away, and the count is 1-2. He really runs well. He's been able to push Ramon Laureano into the corner outfield position in right field. Covers a lot of ground in center field. He doesn't have any stolen bases this year. That might be part and parcel because you got to get on base to be able to steal them. He's not done a lot of that. There's a 96-mile-an-hour fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Christian Pache. Candelario has been the busy guy, as we said, with Pache at the plate. So let's see if they're going to give him something off speed. And here comes the pitch. It's a fastball at 96 that swung on and missed. And Will Vest crawls the ladder on Pache to retire him for out number 3 here in the 7th. So for Oakland in their half of the 7th, there was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 6.5 innings in Detroit. We are all knotted up at 3. We're going to the bottom of the 7th. Everybody stick around. We're glad you are with us this afternoon or this evening, whatever it is. We're happy that you are here. Here's Steve again.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP cheese. We have the Greek Freak. We have money from around the world. We have lira. We have yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers and OPG baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the royal family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
Appreciate you, Steve, and your support of the channel. And he says that he can't read the back of the OPG cards, and that's because Steve doesn't always wear his reading glasses to read. Make sure you check out his channel. Let him know that Last Raps Baseball sent you. All right, everybody, we're going to the bottom of the seventh inning. It is going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the Tiger batting order. That means it's going to be Spencer Torkelson, Tucker Barnhart, and Robbie Grossman, and they're going to be facing a reliever in AJ Puck. He is going to be the third pitcher used today by the Oakland Athletics. So Puck is on in relief. I'm kind of curious, as Puck has been considered to be one of the top pitching prospects in their organization, and he's never really got it together at the big league level yet. So he's getting an opportunity to come out of the bullpen, and we're going to have to see how this is going to work. So a Puck on in relief. It'll be the pitcher used today by the Athletics. Puck on the season has been very effective. So 13 innings, he's allowed 8 hits, 1 run earned. He's walked 3 and struck out 14. He's whistled to a tune of a 0.69 ERA. He's got a little bit larger growth of beard and a little bit bigger waistline than we would have thought. There was a first pitch fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Torkelson. Torkelson today has 2 plate appearances. He's walked both of his times. He was able to score a run his last time. Here comes the pitch. It's a fastball at 97, taken for a called strike, and the count is now 0-2. You got a left-handed pitcher who can bring it up to 97 miles an hour. Those guys are like gold. If AJ Puck can figure this out, as we know, Oakland is always looking to flip players. He could bring back a very interesting haul. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away by Torkelson, and the count remains at 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Torkelson is 0 for 9 in this series against the Athletic pitchers. There is action in the Tiger bullpen as Michael Fulmer is up and throwing. Former Rookie of the Year. And there's a fastball at 98 that blows Torkelson away for out number 1 here in the 7th inning. The word I would use there is overmatched. That's exactly what Torkelson was facing AJ Puck. So 1 up and 1 away, and that is going to bring up the catcher, Tucker Barnhart. Barnhart will be hitting from the right side for the first time today. He's 4 for 12 in this series. He's raised his season average up to 273, but he's 1 for 2 today with an RBI. And the first pitch is a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0. 1 ball and no strikes. They appeal down to Nick Marley, the first base umpire, and he says he didn't go. So Barnhart ready to face the offering from Puck. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that is swung on. It's lifted foul. It's going to reach the seats down the right field line. And that's going to even the count at 1-1. AJ Puck bringing it up to 98 miles an hour. As we said, he's a very big man for a lot of different reasons. At 6'7", they list him now at 248 pounds. And he is definitely all of that. Here comes the 1-1 offering. There is a fastball that misses outside, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. The lefty Puck is ready to go back to work. He holds at the belt. He kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into shallow right field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Barnhart's going to pick up his 2nd hit of the ball game as he is aboard with a single, and that's going to turn it over to the top of the order, Robbie Grossman. For Robbie Grossman, he is 0 for 3 today, but he has driven in a run. The Tigers have something going here with 1 out in their half of the 7th. Grossman is going to turn around for the first time today and bat from the right side. The Tigers have 4 switch hitters in their lineup today. Our friend Shotgun Shell 80 says, what's your take on umpires fixing games? There's a fastball that is swung on. It's lined to the second baseman. Jumping up to make the catch is Kemp. He makes the grab. And that is going to send Grossman back to the dugout. A good swing by Grossman. Lined right to the second baseman. Maybe it wasn't a bullet, but it was a soft liner. he has gone for out number 2. So the question that Shotgun Shell asks about take on umpires fixing games. Major League Baseball, to my knowledge, or at least in my opinion, I don't think that the umpires are, in terms of their balls and their strikes, I really don't see anything really heinous, except for maybe what I would call some of the really poor umpires who just aren't good at calling balls and strikes. And you can think of a couple of those guys. There's a fastball that misses down and away, but I don't think that they're actively trying to throw games. You do have to keep an eye on some of this stuff. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. There's a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count goes to 1-1. I think about the NBA, of course, and the issue they had with Tim Donaghy. There have been soccer officials in Europe that have been adiosed for some of that stuff, but Major League Baseball, in terms of the things that I've watched, there's nothing that you would say that there's a pattern of being really heinous. There is a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 2-1. Each umpire is going to have a different interpretation of how they view the strike zone. Some pitchers or some umpires will give the outside corner. Sometimes guys will prefer different ones. Troy Tolles says, it's happened before, so it's not out of the question. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to third. It's fielded by the third baseman. Noisy throws to first, and that is going to retire Meadows on a ground out 5-3 for out number 3. Hang tight, everybody. I'll come back and talk about this in just a couple minutes. We've got Joe in the house. He read my mind on who I was thinking of. We've got no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard for the Tigers in the bottom of the 7th inning. We are now through 7 complete in Detroit. It is the Detroit Tigers 3, the Oakland A's 3. Stick around, everybody. We'll come back and talk a little bit about umpires and the potential for some of that fixing stuff in just a moment. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back. Here is our friend Steve again.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name, and I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Thanks for being here, everybody. We're moving to the top of the 8th inning, but we'll cut out early to talk about some of the things that have come up in the chat. So umpires per se, fixing or throwing games. One thing I would say is this, is it's like accountants. Accountants, you have to pay them well. If you don't pay them well, then you can have a problem where there's always easy money that can be manipulated or taken out. The average wage of a major league umpire, the beginning wage is $150,000 US for the first year rookie umps. And guys with incentives, with all-star games and World Series, they can make themselves up to $500,000 or more a year. And that is kind of where they stand. So some of those guys who are making the big money, or what we would consider as big money for North American standards, maybe not the multi-millions the players are making, they're able to make themselves some decent wages and live a pretty good life. I think of other situations, if you're not paying them very well, especially in Europe, when I think of soccer, they've had some issues with the Russian mob or the Croatian mobs, where they get to some of the officials and they offer them significant amounts of money, way more than what they would be doing in officiating games. They can make a couple of paydays to be able to take that and go. Our friend, like father, like son, that's Joe. He says Angel needs to take his money and invest that in some LASIK surgery. Either that or he needs to invest it in some judgment, because his judgment is not the best. So here comes the first pitch from Michael Fulmer. It is a breaking ball that misses up and away to Tony Kemp. It'll be Kemp, Noisy, and Lowry here in the 8th inning to face the right-hander Fulmer, who is on in relief. This is the 3rd pitcher the Tigers have used today. So Michael Fulmer on the hill. And there is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. And the count now goes even to 1-1 to Kemp. So it is a decent ball game we have on our hands. I can imagine today, the way this game has gone, we might be here for a while. Why do I have a feeling this game's going to go 10, 11, or 12 innings? There's a breaking ball that misses down to Tony Kemp, and the count is now 2-1. And like father, like son asks, has Christian Pache done anything today? Asking for a friend. You'll be pleased to know that you're glad he is not in the Atlanta lineup. He is 0 for 3 today. There is a fastball that misses up, and the count is now 3-1. He has grounded out twice to the third baseman, Joe, and he has struck out. That is his 0 for 3 afternoon, and I'm sure he's got a couple of more of those in him. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Tony Kemp. The Tigers would like to keep the leadoff hitter off the bases, as Kemp has a stolen base today, and he runs fairly well. He's a good table setter. So here comes the 3-1 offering. Fulmer rocks into the motion. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike. And the count is now 3-2. Shotgun Shell 80 says he's got home plate umpire Alan Porter dead to rights by his reaction to the replay. He wanted the call on the field at first base to be overturned and the run not to score. I've got him on 3 games last year. That'd be very interesting to see. There's a pop-up in the middle of the infield. Coming over on it is Harold Castro, who's the shortstop playing on the right side. He's going to make the grab, and that is going to retire Tony Kemp on a pop-out to second for out number 1. There are plays that sometimes that do come into question, and sometimes judgments that do come into question. And you have to ask yourself, why is that happens? I can't comment on Alan Porter. I don't really know him as an official. I know who he is, but I don't really pay much attention to him per se. There's a first pitch fastball taken for a called strike to Sheldon Noisy, and the count is 0-1. But it is an interesting topic. You think about some of the plays and some of the games that go on. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-1. To answer Kenneth Austin's question, did Fulmer used to be a starter? Yes, he was the starting pitcher for the Tigers. After he had the Tommy John surgery, they brought him back as a reliever and a sometimes spot starter. But I think he has probably got closer type stuff. The way his arm action works, or 8th inning in this case, if Gregory Soto is their 9th inning guy, he's probably good to go out every couple of days and throw as he is now. His arm action is not necessarily great for a starting pitcher. There's a fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count goes to 1-2. I look at Fulmer's arm action. He has a very violent delivery. It's not what we would call smooth. He's a max effort guy. It's kind of funny. Shotgun Shell says, everyone gets calls wrong. We understand. Rooting for your umpire team to get the call on the field wrong is extremely unusual. The other part that I also would say to that is that there's a fastball that is check swing by Noisy, and he is retired on strikes. Fulmer induces him to swing the bat. He is gone for out number 2, and that's going to bring up the DH, Jed Lowry. For Jed Lowry, he is 1 for 2 today. He singled and scored a run in the first. He walked and flew out to right. As we continue talking about some of the umpires and some of the stuff, there's certain umpires and certain people that, as we say, they, for the most part, they're fairly decent, even at the major league level. There's a lot of filtering that gets done through the minor leagues. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. I remember a number of years ago, it was in Savannah, Georgia, that a young umpiring crew had gone back to the hotel. And there was probably about 2005. There is a breaking ball that is swung at and fouled away. And I may have my wires crossed. It might have been a little later. That might have been 2008. They got back to the hotel and they were robbed at gunpoint. One of the umpires was grabbed and they put him face first into the toilet. They had a gun to the back of the head, and the robbers cleaned out the entire hotel room, while the other player was also being held at gunpoint at another place. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. There's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is 2-1. But also the situation in the Dominican Republic, they do send the umpires down to the Dominican or Venezuela. I know a few guys who went and did some stuff, and that is where the because there's a lot of gambling that goes on baseball in Latin America, and there's the pitch. It is a fastball that misses outside, and the count now goes to 3-1 on Lowry. That there was an incident in the Dominican Republic. A lot of people don't always hear about this, where the gangsters had come into the lobby brandishing their guns looking for the umpiring crew. And so some of the guys that were in the umpiring crew just packed it in and said, we're not going to continue to call games here. Our security is at risk. There's a breaking ball that misses down to Lowry, and he gets himself a 2-out walk. That's going to bring up the first baseman, Seth Brown. So Seth Brown steps to the plate. He is 0 for 3. He has flown to left field twice and struck out in his 3 trips to the plate. He's batting here with 2 out and a runner on first in the 8th inning. One of my friends was doing the Venezuelan Winter League, and he said that he felt okay down there because they were pretty much protected. You would get to the park, but they really didn't leave their hotel rooms. They didn't really want to take that risk to head out, so they were pretty sheltered. He said he wished he would have been able to see more of Venezuela. There's a changeup that misses down, and the count is 1-0. Unfortunately for Brendan, he got released in AAA. And sometimes that's always a good thing. Guys don't make it all the way, and they end up finding another calling in life. He's with the Air Force, and he's had an opportunity to be working and stationed in Washington, D.C., not necessarily as a pilot, but he is, I believe, the Air Force. Maybe it's the Marines. But he has also had a chance to be the soldier, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Washington, which is kind of cool. Has to guard that, always on display. I don't think he's assigned there right now, but he's had opportunities in other areas. So Brandon has had that opportunity to be able to do that in his life. Here's the 1-0 pitch. There's a breaking ball that catches the outside corner, and the count is 1-1. I haven't talked to him in a while. Usually it's on the birthdays and stuff that we sometimes connect. But sometimes guys don't get all the way to the big leagues. They get turfed out on the way. One of the umpires on this crew was in my class a number of years ago. There's a changeup that misses down, and the count is 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Seth Brown. And if you would have asked me, probably I would have said that would have been one of the guys into the pro ball ranks that would have never got there, let alone to the pro ball ranks. But good for him for staying with it and carrying on. There's a breaking ball that misses up. And the count is 3-1 now to the left-handed hitting Brown. So Brown digs in at the plate, waiting on the offering from Michael Fulmer. He checks the sign from his catcher. And again, Fulmer steps off the rubber as Brown steps out of the box. Fulmer has thrown 20 pitches in this inning. 12 of them have been balls. This is not vintage Fulmer by any means. Here's the 3-1. It's a fastball that catches the outside corner. And the count is now 3-2. One would expect that Fulmer's day will be done here, and they'll turn the ball over to Gregory Soto for the 9th. Should Seth Brown find a way on base, it is Ramon Laureano who waits his turn. At the 3-2 pitch, Lowry will be in motion. Fulmer kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is smoked to deep right field. Going back on the warning track, looking up and watching it sail into the seats is Austin Meadows. And Michael Fulmer has served up a 2-run shot here in the 8th inning. And the Oakland Athletics have taken a 5-3 lead over the Tigers. You could just see this brewing here. Fulmer does not have his best stuff today. That ball is going to sail and make its way into the seats. And the Athletics have themselves a 5-3 lead here in the 8th inning. Our friend Troy Trolls says, Michael Fulmer again. I generally have a lot of confidence in Michael Fulmer on the mound. Maybe not so much with former Tiger Shane Green, but definitely with Michael Fulmer. Unfortunately, he gets tagged for a 2-run shot if you're a Tiger fan. There's a fastball that misses off the outside corner to Laureano, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Ramon Laureano. Fulmer ready to go back to work. There is a fastball that drops in for a called strike, and the count now is 1-1. Our friend Joe says at least it wasn't Christian Pache. And there's a fastball that swung on. This ball is lifted into right field. Not as deep this time. Camping out underneath it is the right fielder, Meadows. He's got room and makes the catch, and that is going to do it here for the Athletics in their half of the 8th inning. But there's been damage done. There was 2 runs in the inning on 1 hit. It was the home run by Seth Brown. There were no errors and nobody left the board. We're moving to the bottom of the 8th inning. It is the Oakland Athletics 5, the Detroit Tigers 3. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back with the call. The bottom of the 8th inning in just a moment. See if the Tigers have anything left in them or if they've used up all their runs. Hold tight. We'll be right back.
Hello, and we'll be right back to Last Reps Baseball after this brief message from me, Steve Rademacher. Thank you all for watching my channel and supporting me. Thank you all for supporting Freddie and Last Reps Baseball. He does an awesome job commentating. And to show you some more stuff that you could see on my channel, we have shiny Pokemon cards. We have Hall of Fame quarterbacks like Brett Favre. We have Bo Jackson playing baseball. That's right. That's his rookie card. Very nice. We even have gold. We have gold. We have wrestlers. That's Rowdy Piper. And yes, we even have Jason Stokes and many ways to destroy him. So now, thank you again. Back to your regular program with your host, Last Reps Baseball.
Welcome back, everybody. We are cruising to the bottom of the 8th inning. It is going to be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters coming up for the Tigers. It'll be Jmar Candelario, Miguel Cabrera, and Harold Castro. And it looks like A.J. Puck is coming on for his 2nd inning of work in relief. A.J. Puck is the 3rd pitcher used by the A's today. He has relieved James Caprillion and Domingo Acevedo. So he is pitcher number 3 here, and the first pitch is a fastball swung on and fouled away by Jmar Candelario, and the count is 0-1. Very impressed by Puck today. As we said, there was a lot of hype around this young left-hander, and he struggled in his first 2 trips to the big leagues. This year here, he's off to a great start, and that is going to be something that Oakland will want to have. As we said, Oakland is usually the sellers, not so much the buyers. A fastball at 98 that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-1. There is action in the Tiger bullpen as there is Joe Jimenez warming up. It is Danny Jimenez in the Oakland bullpen. He's getting warmed up. So here comes the 1-1 offering. Puck kicks and delivers. It is a fastball that's off the outside corner, but the batter, Candelario, has said that he went according to Greg Gibson, so now the count is 1-2. Candelario is 1 for 2 in this ball game today. He tripled and scored a run his last time up. He's walked and grounded to first. And here's the pitch from Puck. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Getting word down the wire that the Seattle Mariners' Mitch Haniger is going to be out until late July with an ankle injury. Curious to see how that's going to shape up for them in the outfield. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. The count is 1-2. With Jared Kalenic struggling, J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez is playing a little bit better. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Candelario. Here is a fastball swung on. It's grounded to short. It's fielded neatly by the shortstop Smith. He fires across the diamond. That is going to retire Candelario on a ground out 6-3. So I watch Smith field that ball. He makes a nice play, but he looks like he is a third baseman playing shortstop. I don't know if I would trust him there regular. I know he's giving Elvis Andrus the day off today. That is going to bring up Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera on the series is 5 for 15. He's 1 for 3 today. He had an RBI double in the 6th. He's raised his batting average up to 270. So here comes the offering to Puck. It is a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. So 1 ball and no strikes to Cabrera. Here comes the offering from Puck. It is a fastball swung on. It is grounded up the middle. It is fielded on the backhand by the second baseman, Kemp. He throws to first, and Cabrera is out. If I put the stopwatch on Cabrera getting down the line, I always say about 4 seconds is what you're looking at. I would say Cabrera had to be close to 6. So he has gone on a ground out 6-3, and that is going to bring up Javi Baez to the plate. He is going to be pinch hitting for Harold Castro. So Baez steps into the box. Castro's day is done. So Baez got the chance to relax for the first 7 innings of this ball game. Steps up to the dish. For Baez on the season, he's hitting .225. He's got a couple of homers. He hits from the right side against the left-handed throwing Puck, and there's a breaking ball that misses outside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Baez has that slightly open stance. He's waiting on the offering from the lefty Puck. Kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Jonathan Scope would be due up next should Baez find a way to get on base here for the Tigers in their last half of the 8th. There is a fastball swung on. It is grounded to second. It's fielded with the glove hand by Tony Kemp. He throws to first. And that is going to retire Baez. So the Tigers go quietly here in their half of the 8th inning. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 8 in Detroit. It is the Oakland Athletics 5, the Detroit Tigers 3. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. We assume pitching change coming from both teams. Looks like Joe Jimenez will be joining the fray in just a moment. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back after this.
Good evening, sports fans. I hope you all have been enjoying the game. This is just another message from another Hollis build. I hope that your team is in the lead, but if not, remember, that's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. But you know I'm gonna change that tune. When I'm back on top in June. I said that's life, and as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on my team, but I don't let it get me down, 'cause this fine old world, it keeps spinning around. I hope you enjoy the rest of the game, and if it remains the same, remember, that's life. You want your fill? Go check another Hollis build on YouTube. Last Raps Baseball. Let's get back to the game. Let's go! You know that's life. You know it. One love and peace.
Welcome back, everybody. We have a pitching change for the Tigers. It is going to be Joe Jimenez coming in, as is going to be entering his 14th game of the season. He has so far thrown 12 and a third innings. He's allowed 10 hits, 6 runs, all of which have been earned. He's walked 5 and struck out 14, and he's got an ERA of 4.38 on the season. He's going to be entrusted to face Christian Betancourt, Luis Barrera, and Kevin Smith. The first pitch is 95 miles an hour on the outside corner, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Betancourt. Baez has taken over defensively at short for the Tigers, as he is now in the game after that pinch hitting appearance. And here comes the 0-1 pitch. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Betancourt. Betancourt today is officially 1 for 2. Runs in the first inning. He's also walked and grounded out. Jimenez now comes set at the chest. He delivers, and there's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-2 to Betancourt. Betancourt, Barrera, and Smith here in the top of the 9th inning, scheduled to face the right-hander Jimenez. Jimenez holds at the chest, and now he kicks and fires. There is a fastball swung on, and it's lifted foul down the right field line. I would say that pitch there is probably a pitch that the right-hander Jimenez was fortunate with. He did not hit his spot. It was too good a pitch at 1-2. So here comes the 1-2 offering again to Betancourt. He kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into center field. Drifting over to his right and then back to his left is Castro. He's going to make the grab, and that is 1 up and 1 away here in the top of the 9th inning, and that will bring up the the left fielder, Luis Barrera. Barrera today is 0 for 3. He has struck out twice and bounced into a fielder's choice. But the other times at bat, every time that he came up, we'd have to ask ourselves, does Barrera gets himself into trouble and in the hole pretty quick? There's a first pitch fastball that misses upstairs. The count's 1-0. Every time I look up, Barrera would be 0-2, but not this time, as he's now ahead in the count. His average has slipped to 143 on the season. He's 1 for 7 in the series, and here comes the offering from Jimenez. It's a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that swung through and missed, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Of course, Barrera has limited at-bats. So here's the 1-1 offering. It is a fastball swung on. It is grounded to third. It's fielded by Candelario over to first, and that is going to retire Barrera on a ground out 5-3 for out number 2. That is going to leave it up to the shortstop, Kevin Smith. Just a couple of programming notes for everybody here that is listening in. We will post either late tonight or tomorrow our Japanese games. We will call the Saturday and Sunday games in Japan. Those will be done on Friday evening and Saturday evening, North American time. So hopefully you can pop by and join us for one of those. So here comes the offering from Jimenez. It is a breaking ball that misses down and away. The count is 1-0 to Kevin Smith. Smith is 0 for 3 today. He's flown out all 3 times, twice to right field and once to center. And here comes the offering from Jimenez. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Tigers will be down to their last 3 outs in the 9th inning. And one would expect that it's going to be Danny Jimenez on in relief, trying to close it out for the Athletics. 2 really good innings by A.J. Puck. Here's the pitch from Jimenez. It is a breaking ball that misses outside. They peel down to first base, but Nick Marley says no, he didn't go. And that is going to run the count now to 2-1 on Kevin Smith. So Jimenez ready to get back to work. He delivers a breaking ball. It is swung on. It is softly hit over to Candelario. He fields it neatly. He throws to first. And that is going to do it. Kevin Smith is retired for the third out of the innings. So for the Athletics in their half of the ninth, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. Stick around, everybody. We're going to the bottom of the ninth inning. The Tigers are down to their last wraps. We're going to see if they're going to be able to pull out some magic here in the ninth inning. Hold tight. We'll be right back after these from our friend Dave again.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for checking out Last Wraps. We had some winners in last month's mystery pack giveaway. The names right here, and maybe here are the winners. Make sure you are following the instructions on our other video to qualify this month for a pack of mystery cards from Zero Fox Sports Cards. Thanks for checking it out. Enjoy the ball game.
Thanks again, Dave at Zero Fox. Be sure to check out his channel. Here's the instructions for this month. Be sure to let him know Last Wraps Baseball sent you.
Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the game and Last Wraps Baseball. This is Dave, Zero Fox Sports Cards. If you like pack openings, baseball, all that good stuff, check us out. Drop a comment on our channel this month to win a mystery pack of cards. All you gotta do is say Last Wrap sent you to be entered. And we'll drop a video later on this month announcing the winner. Enjoy the game.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Danny Jimenez coming on in relief. He is going to be taking over here for the Oakland A's after a couple of good, strong innings by A.J. Puck. So Danny Jimenez on in relief, looking to close it out. Athletics. As so far this year, this is going to be his 13th appearance. He has pitched 12 innings. He's given up 8 hits, 2 runs. Nothing has been earned. He's walked 5, struck out 14. He's got an ERA of 0, and he has 5 saves to his name. So Jimenez in to take over as he's going to face Scope, Castro, and Torkelson here in the bottom of the ninth. And the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses down to Scope, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Scope today is 0 for 3. He's grounded to short twice and popped out his last time up to the catcher. So here comes the 1-0 offering as Jimenez holds at the belt. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that catches as he called strike at the knees, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Scope in the series is 4 for 18. As we said, he's been stinking it up a little bit this year. I like the way his approach was at the plate last year, but he's got to get some stuff going as the weather heats up. And there's a breaking ball swung on and missed. The count now goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. It'll be Scope, Castro, and Torkelson. The bottom part of the batting order has actually done the damage for the Tigers, or most of the damage today. And here's the offering. It is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count now is 2-2 to Scope. Castro has a couple of hits. Torkelson has walked a couple of times. And Tucker Barnhart has a couple of hits. So the offensive production has come from the 7, 8, and 9 spots. As those Tiger hitters have 4 of the Tigers' hits today. And the Tigers only have 6 of them. So here comes the 2-2 offering. It's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count now is full to Scope. As we say, this game is far from over. Tigers need a couple of base runners. So Willie Castro is looming on deck. It is 3 balls and 2 strikes to Scope. Jimenez gets the sign from his catcher, Betancourt. And now he comes set at the belt. He throws from the stretch as there's nobody on base. And here comes the offering. It is a fastball that is swung on and missed. And that is going to retire Scope for the first out of the inning. 1 up and 1 away. And that is going to bring up Willie Castro. For Castro, he is 2 for 3 today. He's got 2 of those 6 Tiger hits. He's got 2 singles. He's scored a run, and he's also flown to center field. So Castro steps up to the dish. And Jimenez steps off the rubber, and now he's ready to go back to work. He checks the sign from his catcher. And now he comes set at the belt. And he kicks and he fires. It's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0, or 0-1. Check that. We'll do that all over again. Willie Castro takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike. So no balls and 1 strike to Castro. Castro today is 2 for 3. He's 7 for 14 in the series. I think he's going to roll out the red carpet when he sees the Oakland A's come back again. He's absolutely been brilliant. There is a fastball swung on. This is lifted into shallow center field. Camping out underneath it is Christian Pache. He's going to make the grab, and that is going to retire Castro for the second out of the inning. And so just like that, 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to leave it all up to Spencer Torkelson. And Torkelson today comes to the plate. He is 0 for 1. He has walked twice and struck out once. The Tigers are down to their final bat here. Torkelson is 0 for 10 on the series. Joe is cheering for a walk-off. Tigers would need a couple of runners on base to get that, and that's been the problem today, getting runners on base. So the Tigers are down to their final out, and the first pitch is a breaking ball delivered from Jimenez for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Gregory Soto is up and throwing in the Tiger bullpen should the Tigers happen to get to another inning. But we can pretty much almost be safe to say right now that's not going to happen. They're going to have to pile a couple runs on here pretty quick. Comes the 0-1 to Torkelson. There's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner. The count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Joe says the Braves had their first walk-off last night. Braves are probably going to start to get going as the weather starts to warm up down there in Atlanta. Here's the 1-1 pitch. There is a fastball that swung on and missed, and the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes to Torkelson. I've seen a couple of competitive at-bats for Torkelson today, but I've also seen a couple of at-bats where he was overmatched. The last at-bat against A.J. Punk, he absolutely diced him. So here comes the 1-2 offering to Torkelson. I think I throw that last pitch again. They're looking like they're going to go up in the zone. Here's the delivery. It's a fastball at 97 that just misses off the outside corner. The count is now 2-2. I would want to go back with the breaking ball down because that last pitch changed the eye level of the hitter. See if they can induce Torkelson for a swing here. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. Jimenez holds at the belt. He kicks and he fires. It is the breaking ball down, but it was spiked into the dirt in front of home plate, and that's going to run the count to 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Torkelson. It is Tucker Barnhart who waits his turn on deck. Should Torkelson find a way to get on board? So here comes the 3-2 offering to Jimenez. Something's got to give here. He comes set at the belt. And he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted just behind first base. Moving over, and now coming over is the second baseman, Tony Kemp. He slides and makes the catch. And that is going to do it here for the Tigers in their half of the 9th inning. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. Your final score from Detroit is the Oakland Athletics 5, the Detroit Tigers 3. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment to wrap this one up. We're going to do the out-of-town scoreboard We'll call it a day. Hang tight. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We got Shotgun Shell. Appreciate you and your support of our channel. Thank you kindly. As with Troy Trolls, Joe, everybody else who popped in here today, Kenneth Austin, anybody else that we may have missed, we do appreciate everybody here. Mr. Cap as well. Thanks for stopping by. We'll do a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard around Major League Baseball, and then we're going to wrap this one up as well and call it a day. As we said, we're going to have our schedule coming up here in the next 24 hours. We'll post up our Japanese games, and then we'll put up our Major League schedule for next week. We'll take a look and see what we have to offer. We're not going to get a full slate of games, but we are going to get a few under our belt in. In the middle of the ninth inning, they're going to the bottom of the ninth in St. Louis. The Orioles have a 3-2 lead over the Cardinals. 3-8-1 for the Cardinals, 2-5-0 for the 3-8-1 for the Orioles, 2-5-1 for the Cardinals. It'll be Dickerson, O'Neill, and Carlson coming up to bat in the bottom of the ninth for the Cardinals, looking to get a win against those O's. The other finals from around Major League Baseball, the completion of the game from yesterday, the Houston Astros knocked off the Minnesota Twins 11-3, 11-15-1 for the Stros, 3-10-0 for the Twins. Abreu gets the win for the Astros. Archer takes the loss for the Twins. Archer is 0-1 now on the season. The New York Mets beat the Washington Nationals today 4-1. Taijuan Walker picks up the win. He's 1-0. Adon takes the loss. He drops to 1-6. 4-5-0 for the Mets. 1-4-0 for the Nats. And your final score in Detroit, the Oakland Athletics knocked off the Tigers 5-3. Just a quick recap. It was 3 runs in the first inning by the Oakland A's. Tony Kemp led off the game with a single. Sheldon Noisy walked. Jed Lowry singled. And Seth Brown flew out to left. Then Ramon Laureano reached on an error. And that ended up cashing in Tony Kemp. And Christian Betancourt had a 2-run single. And that was the 3 runs that the A's produced in their half of the first inning. The Detroit Tigers were able to get 2 back in their 5th. With 1 out, it was a Willie Castro single and a walk to Spencer Torkelson. Tucker Barnhart then had a RBI double. Then Robbie Grossman grounded out, knocking in a run, and the Tigers cut the lead to 3-2. In the bottom of the 6th inning, a J-Mar Candelario leadoff triple. He was brought home by a Miguel Cabrera RBI double. The Tigers locked the game up at 3. But it was the Oakland A's in the 8th inning with 2 out. A walk to Jed Lowry and a 2-run shot by Seth Brown off of Michael Fulmer was the difference in the game. And your final score was the Oakland A's 5 and the Detroit Tigers 3. That is all for our action today. The other game that was out of town on the scoreboard is the second game, or the start of the second game between the Twins and the Houston Astros. That game is in the first inning. They are knotted up at 0s. All right, everybody. Once again, you've watched another Last Rounds Baseball video production. Again, we appreciate you all coming in here today. Hope you have a great day. Come on back and see us again later. We're going to do it all over again, but it is going to be tomorrow night with the Japanese League. Our schedule will be up a little bit later today or early tomorrow morning. Have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you again soon.
All I want